Hydro field cuts through my neighborhood. Somehow that always just made me feel good. And I can put a spare bulb in my hand, light up my yard. Late at night when the wires in the walls sing in tune with the din of the falls, I'm conducting it all while I sleep to light this whole town. When you grab a hold of me, you tell me that I would never be set free. Well, I'm a parasite, mama, without a creeping, crawling, and slipping to the night. 2 pints of booze. Tell me, are you a bad bitch too? You a bad bitch too now? Ain't got no money to spend. I hope this night would never ever end. Yeah, Lord knows that I'm weak. Won't somebody get me off of this here reef? Well, baby, you're a big blue whale. Yes, I grabbed that reef when all the diving failed. I could swim, but I wish I never learned. I said the water's much too polluted with germs. But I dive deep when it's 10 feet overhead. Oh, and I grabbed that reef right underneath my bed. Underneath my bed, y'all. Ain't got no quarrels with God. I got no time to get old. No. Lord knows that I'm weak. Won't somebody... Used to think the world was flat. Really threw my hat into the crowd. I felt I had used up my quota of yearning. Used to looking on the children. When you grab a hold of me, you tell me that I would never be set free. Well, I'm a parasite, mama, without a creeping, crawling, and slipping to the night. 2 pints of booze. Tell me, are you a bad bitch too? You a bad bitch too now? Ain't got no money to spend. I hope this night would never ever end. Yeah, Lord knows that I'm weak. Won't somebody get me off of this here reef? Well, baby, you're a big blue whale. Yes, I grabbed that reef when all the diving failed. I could swim, but I wish I never learned. I said the water's much too polluted with germs. But I dive deep when it's 10 feet overhead. Oh, and I grabbed that reef right underneath my bed. Underneath my bed, y'all. Ain't got no quarrels with God. I got no time to get old. No, no, no. Lord knows that I'm weak. Won't somebody?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Fearlessly Authentic. I don't have an agenda for tonight's show, but I do have a guest, my other co host. We have Elle hanging out with us tonight. How are you, Daria?
Hello.
Nice to see you. How's
Yeah, I
everybody
couldn't
doing?
find a good avatar, so I stuck with Daria. I was looking for Klaus, but I couldn't find him, so I was like, fuck it, just do Daria.
Oh my God, everybody's going to know Klaus now. Now that, the gatekeepers are allowing his name to be said,
I just watched the whole documentary that he was the subject of, Das Forum from Germany. And I watched it on YouTube. It was posted a month ago, so it's a pretty brand new upload. There's some German in it, but there's a lot of English parts too, so it's not too hard to figure out what was going on. And I learned a little more German while I watched because it had the subtitles that you couldn't get rid of. And I was like, oh, okay, Gosa, okay. And I'm like working on my German while watching it and retaining information. He mentioned Club of Rome at one point, which was really interesting, and said that he gave them their first platform. So I want to bring up that clip tomorrow on my show, The Political Matrix, with Steve and Emmanuel.
Most excellent.
Not Steve. What? Chris and Emmanuel. I forgot his name for a second. I don't know where Steve came from. I guess I was looking at Steve's name in the chat, and I said Steve instead of Chris.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh.
My bad.
This is so weird. The count is off. Like there's more people in this chat than it's saying on YouTube and on here. It's really weird.
People come and go, it's like the wind.
Yeah.
Yeah, they blow in and out,
It's weird. But let's say who has come in and said hi to us already. Vegan Succubus said, good evening. Happy Friday. Beautiful humans sending love and light to all from Washington State. Oh, love back at you from Connecticut, where we had like 50-degree weather like 2 days ago. And this morning it was sleeting and icing and, all that. Like snow on the ground again.
Snowing.
Our weather is bipolar. Like if it's a serious thing. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, if you don't
I feel like that's a lot of places.
Wait a minute.
But I mean, 50-degree weather to snow is it's pretty normal here.
Well, we went from like 75 degrees to 50 degrees in like a day.
Yeah.
It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It was like 80 degrees last week. It's 50 tops now. I've been freezing all day.
Oh my gosh. Seriously.
That's why I want to stay in bed in the morning and I just want to research there. I'm like, I'm not going to my computer anytime soon. And I'm too lazy to get my tablet. Nope. We're going to just watch this on my phone. I just watched a whole documentary on my phone for 2 hours.
2 hours on your phone? Oh my
and I'm
gosh.
like, I could be watching this on my tablet, which I bought recently, but no, I'm doing it on my phone because it's warmer with it next to me than with the tablet. I would have to also put something in front of it and I'd have to like set it up. And I'm like, nah, I need to stay in bed right now under the covers, under my 4 covers.
Stay warm.
Steve is complaining in the chat to Popeye that I'm almost surpassing him in subscriptions to the channel.
Oh my god, she's almost
past me too.
Yeah, it's like
easily.
These people.
Kids
today, they're fickle. You know?
I don't care though. I don't care about subscribers, but I am very excited about my follower count getting to 800 plus on Twitter. So thank you everybody who followed me. I'm having a party. It's invisible and you're invited, allegedly. Just like
It's right now.
anything.
Is it now or is it just any time we feel like partying?
This party is invisible. It could be any time, anywhere.
It's in your imagination.
Imaginary. It's imaginary and invisible, and there are unlimited chips. So enjoy.
Oh, I love chips.
And if you want dip, you can have dip too. Whatever you want.
Wow.
You want some beer? It's BYOB, but still.
Just bring some beer with you when you're partying.
It's like, your party. You can.
Seems like a
you
fair
can get
deal.
drunk if you want to.
We have. Wait, Steve. I know you want to say it. Go ahead.
What?
Say hi.
What am I saying?
What?
Huh?
Steve, are you looking at the screen
No,
like at
I
all?
was not.
Jesus.
Ron Tino. Tino.
Really? That was really anticlimactic right there. Like I was really expecting like something like, yeah.
I thought I was really gonna just nail that.
Yes, I thought you were gonna nail it and say something funny, and you know, I had high expectations. See? That would have been better. That would have been.
Well, technically, that was better then.
No, it would have been better if it was the first time. You crushed all my
timing is everything. I got it. Thanks.
Crushed
Coach.
all my hopes and dreams.
Yes, I'm Daria.
Daria.
Hello.
She seems nonplussed.
That's me. My resting face is nonplussed.
I like that.
We have Aaron in the house too.
What up?
E. Heller. Cam Schwari Kate.
See, now you're ahead of me. Now you want to. He wants to call people out. Like,
I'm Peace Dove. I'm calling them all out.
Oh, okay.
Bring your own bud. Smoke them if you got them.
Ricky Rants.
Ricky Rants.
Thanks for following me.
Ricky.
He helped me get to 800. That's very special. Yeah. And Nico really helped me. Nico followed me like yesterday, I think.
Nice.
And he got me to 799. I remember I was at 799 when I got Nico's.
Me. I gotta make friends with some of these people. Who is this you keep mentioning?
He's in the freaking stoop. Oh my god. He's in the same chat as Nico and us, like on the Matrix chat. That totally went over Elle's head. She's like, wait, no. Wait, yep.
I was being irreverent.
Yeah.
Speaking of irreverent, Ricky Rants going off about the pharmacological situation. The other night was fucking hilarious.
We try to get all the keywords out in the beginning to see, like, however they're gonna take us down.
Try to jumble them up together. Different ways as you can think.
Ricky, I sent you a DM on Twitter if you would like. I always grab this and put this here and do this. So if anybody wants to join us, you're welcome to join us. Did it show up on the thing?
Even if you say bad
stuff.
Okay.
Twice?
Especially if you say bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Twice.
It showed up twice.
Nice.
2 different accounts.
Oh, because it's showing up as it does it on Twitch too, I guess, right?
It does it on Twitch. It does
Yeah.
it on
Oh yeah, on the YouTube it's fine. It's just one.
and then the Twitter too. I think that's
To them too.
broadcasting too.
Huh? Yeah.
I think you're just broadcasting to those 3 right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna do that other thing like Warren was doing. That's really fucking clever. Using the StreamYard to get all your people, all your guests and stuff in one place, and then you can use the OBS to do all kinds of fancy shit that you couldn't normally do on the StreamYard. It's all coming together inside my brain, ladies and gentlemen.
Guys,
just be patient.
I'm gonna do something I shouldn't right now. with Ricky. I'm going to tell you guys something. Do you guys want to know a secret? Ricky, I'm going to call you out, dude.
Tell us.
I have to tell the people. How can I not? He's Waldo. He's fucking Waldo, guys. He is fucking Waldo. And I want a signed picture of Waldo.
Ricky Ray.
Yep. Where's Waldo? There's Waldo.
Seriously. Is there nobody in this chat right now?
I think he works it. You know, he works that Waldo angle, wearing just the right sweater and cap and stuff. And like,
I know. Like, sorry, I blew it up. I blew up your spot. That you're the real. Where's Waldo?
he kind of let on the other night.
Mm-hmm. If they need to do a movie version,
Yeah,
which they will,
Dude, seriously.
Yeah. Live
you will do it.
He's definitely, you know, at least a stunt double. You know, at the very least.
Ricky, wait. Ricky Rance has a wrench, right? Yeah, he has one. Okay, now he does. Yes, I wrench ya, bitches.
Wrenchified.
Rance is all butthurt. He doesn't have a wrench.
Yeah, because he did it before. He didn't say. I have to go on my phone to do it. So, you know, I have to like look and go, wait, does this person have a wrench? Yeah, sorry. I had to, you know. Oh my God.
I wish I could get all the Harry Potter references. I do know Harry Potter though, so I can laugh at that address.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't. I only know a little Harry Potter.
I know who he is, and I know the Snape guy, and I know the one that can't be named or whatever, the one with the face, the weird face guy. And I know that there are different factions, and I don't know what they mean.
Yeah.
The Waldo to Mario pipeline. Oh my God. That sounds like a fantastic like start of a show.
It's the expose from Ricky Rance.
Yeah. Oh my
Trilogy.
goodness. Oh my God. So I went to the dollar store yesterday. Was it yesterday, Steve? Is that when I went to the dollar store? Oh my God.
Wow.
I thought I was going to be the crazy Karen. I thought I was really going to be a Karen. I thought my opportunity to be a Karen existed when I went to the dollar store. So there's me.
Premeditated Karen?
It may be premeditated Karenism. Is that a thing? Like, do women premeditate their Karenisms? Like, they plan it out.
Knowing that you're going to go Karen on people.
I was a Karen with the phone company. Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right.
So
Verizon /
I go to the dollar store, right? And it's the one that's supposed to be everything's $1. Okay. So I'm there and I pull up in the parking lot, and this lady gives me this look like I'm in a big old van. The van is 15 feet, big old full-size cargo work van, right? And makes regular vans look like baby vans. They really do look like minivans. They really look tiny in comparison, but you know. So I'm pulling up and I pull into the aisle to like pull into the parking spot, and this lady just like that looked like a Karen, that like if you had to pick out a Karen, you would probably pick her out as the Karen and not me. Okay.
She was Karen.
Yeah, she had that Karen energy. She absolutely had Karen energy. So like she like glares at me. And so I slow way the fuck down. Like, dude, you were driving down the middle of the lane. You know, the middle, the very middle. You're supposed to share. You're in an SUV. You're not very big now, are you? And I'm on my side, and she just like slows down to like kind of like give me this look. I don't know what her problem was. I'm not going to assume to know what her problem was, but I stopped enough to like, you know, to really give her a look back. Like, okay, what is your problem? Like, so it's already started. I already felt the Karen energy just pulling into where I'm going to park. And then, so, you know, Leo's my service dog. So I bring him with me everywhere. And it's just me and Leo. Usually I avoid the stores. Like, I don't want to go to the stores. I don't like the energy of the stores. And I'm standing there waiting to cross, and like these cars just keep, it's not like it's a busy parking lot or they couldn't see me. It wasn't like it was dark out, and I'm just standing there and I see one car, they go to the stop and then they keep going. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right, whatever. And then another car comes and then does the same thing and doesn't stop to let me cross. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I got a little loud. I wasn't like screaming or anything, but I mean, I was loud enough for the lady like across the little parking area there to like look at me and go, because I went, what does nobody stop anymore? Like what has happened to people? Like it felt so robotic and weird. So, I'm like, oh my gosh. And this lady looks at me and she's like, yeah, you think that, they were supposed to or something. You know what I mean? Like it was a weird, I don't know what way she really meant that comment to go. I was just like, all right, this is weird. The world just felt weird to me. I go in the freaking dollar store and all I need is Scotch tape. That's it. Why is it called Scotch tape? I really want to know, but it's fucking Scotch tape. And why is it Scotch? Okay. It's not plaid. You know what I mean? Like they make it plaid, Scotch tape, like, yeah, whatever. It's a whole different thing. But I'm in, like, I go to the door and there is a sign on the door and it says that you have to wear masks inside. And I'm like, oh God.
Lame.
I don't fucking have a mask on. I don't even have one on my person. I'm not wearing a mask. Like I'm fucking done with that shit. Like I'm done. I don't even know what the state or the fucking town or the fucking store even says about it. I don't know. Like
the CDC has even done 70% of the place.
So I go in the store and like everybody is wearing masks. Everybody. Creepy, and I have little Leo. Okay. People like to come over and say hi to me with little Leo. And, some people stopped and like, smiled and waved at him and, that's a very normal thing to hear. Oh my God. Oh, he's so cute. Oh, oh my God, he's real. Like people. Yeah. Cause he rides in the cart a lot of times. So people will be like, they'll see him and they'll like, oh my God, that's a real dog. Oh my God. Cause he's little. So, and I just feel the energy in the store. I'm the only one in there without a fucking mask on. And I'm just going to get the tape and I got the dog and I'm like, oh man. And I could just feel the fucking stress and the energy of that store and all the people.
Yeah.
And like, oh, it was awful. It felt so toxic. Like it felt like I opened the door. It's like when you walk outside of an AC, you walk out of the AC and you get hit by the heat, like of the summer and you're like, ugh. It felt like that inside, very thick and gross. And I'm in there and I go to help somebody, like he was like struggling to like pick something up or move it. And he like just did that weird like jump away from me thing. Like, oh God, not the unmasked. Yeah, oh my God. And then I'm like, all right, maybe this is just me being paranoid. I'm like, whatever, maybe it's just me being paranoid. But then like the guy who works there, like, and but then like I'm near somebody else and she's standing there like all stiff and like all like in this defensive mode. Like something was, I don't know. It was really weird. Like all defensive about me being like near her, but like she wanted to say hi to Leo. It's the weirdest thing because he breaks that stream of consciousness where it's like, be afraid of this person, and they usually he wants to like, say hi to people. Like, like that's just what he does. It's part of the, it's the mutual aid of Leo, and so like people, just the reaction of people and the way that the guy acted towards me too. Like he was the guy that I had to go to his register to get checked out. And he's like standing way back outside of like the, the register area, like avoiding me. And then I go to pay for the 2 things of tape that I got. And I'm like, all right, here's like, $2.25. That should be enough with tax, but it's $2.66. And I'm like, what? The dollar store is no longer the fucking dollar store, guys. It's not. Everything's a dollar is not everything's a dollar store anymore. It's not. That's not the way it is. And I'm in there like, oh my God, everybody's wearing masks. And I can feel like, it feels like to me, this is just my observation, but every time people are more scared, the more scared they are, the more they mask up and the more they avoid people and the more that, they go into that defensive mode. And I feel like everybody was just triggered in that way. And I'm thinking, man, like, is this going to end? Is this going to end? And I feel like screaming in the middle of the dollar store, like, oh my God, your shit is not a dollar. You're freaking like, like I want to go in there and sage the place. Like it just feels toxic in these stores. And oh my God, I thought I was going to be a Karen in the dollar store, like just out of like desperation of wanting people to feel it was really weird. It's so weird.
Yeah.
I just want people to be okay, like I want people to not be dumping that energy into a store and feeling like I'm empathic and, so I feel it and I feel it
Me too,
so hard. And I'm like, don't be afraid of me. Don't be afraid of me. Like, I'm not your enemy. Just because.
Yeah. We're people.
I already had COVID. I had it.
So do I. Say that too. Like, I had it. Like, chill. Like, I had it twice probably. So chill.
Right.
I'm probably not going to get it again. I got the Omicron. I'm fine, I think. Who knows?
I got the symptoms of what everyone says that they're getting. That's what I got.
Yeah. I got cold. I got a cold. It's fine. I'm over it. Chill.
Yeah. Like when Ricky Rance was doing his stream the other night, I said, Skyla was born in the middle of the 2003 thing. I remember like there was like, oh my gosh, only 2 people allowed in the hospital room at a time. Everyone has to wear surgical masks to go in there, and all this shit. She was born on the 22nd. I brought her home on Christmas Eve. What do you think I did the next day? Because at that time I did celebrate Christmas as a family gathering. I went to fucking Christmas the day, you know what I mean? Like it was a struggle after just having a baby, but I went to Christmas and I was around the family, and that was during the whole fucking SARS thing.
Yeah.
I didn't go and get, shots and do anything extra. I asked people to wash their hands before they held her.
That's what they originally did this time. Like then it wasn't enough. They're like, no, we can use this. I mean, not we can use this because they allegedly they had that pre-run. They had that planned allegedly. But also like they wanted to ease people. They wanted to ease people into it. So the easing involved the hand washing, which was duh. And then the easing would involve, like, if you want to wear a mask, don't, because you will be taking it away from the healthcare workers.
Right.
So don't do that. And then I was even saying that stuff because I knew it was true. Right. And I never changed my position. I was like, yeah, don't wear a mask unless you're sick. Duh. Like, that's common sense. Like, that's what I was saying. I never bought into the mask crap. I never was like, yeah, everybody wear a mask. When I saw certain people in the community, suggesting that and then capitalizing on the mask thing, I was like, oh, really? Like,
well, I made masks. I made masks and I believed it at first. I really did. I fell for the fucking shit. And it fucking sucks. It sucks to fall for it. But you know what sucks worse? To keep falling for it. To keep falling for it.
But like when you know, then you can, rewind and whatever. Because the people that I was seeing back then did rewind, thankfully. But it also was just like everybody was kind of on board with that for a long time. Just like it felt like a lot of people actually believe the wet market crap too. like for a long time.
No,
And
I
I'm
was so pissed
like,
about
that really should not be something you
Oh my
believe
God.
right now.
Elle, that made me so mad. I was like, who are we? Who am I to judge what somebody else eats in another country, even if they did eat it and it did come from an animal?
Yeah,
Who
and
am I
again,
to judge
what's the difference?
because they don't eat the things that we do eat here? I mean, we are now vegetarian, and this whole thing made us really evaluate a lot of things for ourselves, And but I was like, who the fuck are we? Who are we to judge what they eat in their country if they do eat something? Are you kidding me? It's still an animal. This one is acceptable and this one's not. I was like, there's no way it came from that. That was stupid.
And then it turns out the lab was like doing research on bats. What do you know? Oh my gosh, for the coronavirus.
Ironic.
Hilarious. Oh my gosh.
I think that whole 2003 rollout of the #1 movie, SARS movie, it was just to get people prefaced, how it's going to happen, how it's going to break down, and they've just been gearing up for the thing. And
I see it as a compliment, by the way. I didn't take it as an insult,
Oh yeah,
I always related to Daria.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, phenomenal mysticism said that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think that's awesome. I think that's really awesome.
Absolutely.
And we were writers too. Like, it's a whole big thing.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, AKA because I'm Daria, really, but also known as Ellie. No, I'm just kidding. You know the thing.
Come on, Jack.
You know the thing with Russia.
Oh God.
World Economic Forum.
Oh yeah, now that's allowed to be discussed now openly. Did you see that? Now people are slowly trickling it in. We're allowed to talk about that now, right?
But it's not a conspiracy when a bunch of people get together and decide how to run the world. That's not a conspiracy. You're a conspiracy theorist.
Oh my God. People want to call me a conspiracy theorist. I will gladly take it. Think about what conspiracy theorist really is. It's 2 or more people conspiring. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. And a theory, which is what? Having thoughts, having an evaluation of something, like putting some information together, having a hypothesis.
It's scientific. Theory is a scientific thing.
Call me a conspiracy theorist. I am a critical thinker. Thank you.
It's science. Trust the science. Evolution is a theory. What are we going to do? What are we going to say about that? Is it wrong? Is it not true?
Hey, Pluto was a planet.
But you can't prove it.
Pluto was a planet when I was growing up, and then it wasn't, and then now I think it's in the club again.
Pluto has come back, and we first told people not to pay attention to Pluto. It wasn't a planet. But now we're saying it's okay to pay attention to Pluto. It is a planet.
Because science says so.
Just like masks. Mm-hmm. Pay attention to the science. Everybody.
Yes. And E. Heller said theories that can be proven or disproven. Absolutely. Yes.
Yes.
That's just a theory, E. Heller. Allegedly.
I should make a show called Allegedly.
Oh my God.
Just allege a whole bunch of shit for a whole episode.
It's just ledges.
Maybe I'll name the next episode Allegedly, and I'll just say allegedly the whole time.
That would be fantastic because wouldn't it just that's your disclaimer. It's just like allegedly. That's your whole fucking thing. Like I can't
allegedly really with L. Latham.
True at all,
If I have a comedy special, it's going to be called Allegedly.
I love it.
Yeah, Hunter Carranza that does the ladies Sunday with us. She told me today that I should be a comedian, and I'm like, no. I'm like, yeah. No, you just when you tell the truth, that's what makes you funny. Like, what the fuck?
Comedy, yeah.
I mean, come on now. Like, Like, can you imagine? Oh, what happened, Ricky? Oh my God, I was thinking I would have to do that to get kicked off of YouTube. Ricky,
This
like,
is allegedly Ricky Rants.
did you get your strike?
That's all. Yeah, did you earn your strike? Because I'm full of it. You know. Uh-oh.
Did they get
He
you?
retracted his message. I don't know. They might be onto him now.
Uh-oh.
Ah.
What message? The one that I put up there?
The YouTube one. It says message retracted.
Oh, I didn't retract it.
No.
Did you retract it, Ricky?
He retracted his own message because it was just too powerful.
He's laughing at me. Ricky, what am I going to do with you?
His message is too powerful for YouTube.
That's the funny thing, though, about like StreamYard is when you have it on the StreamYard. Oh, he did it. Oh my gosh. That show that Ricky did the other day. That was great. I'm like sitting there like, and oh my gosh, my head has been really wonky ever since COVID. We got it. What was it? Right after the New Year, right around that time. And it ever since then, I get this like brain fog that comes in, like, and it rolls in and it lingers and it freaking sucks. And it totally sucks. And I'm sitting there with my brain fog, like, it's really hitting me. And I'm like watching the show with Ricky, and I'm like, okay. And I'm like watching it, and I'm like, all right, I got that. I'm like, Steve, wait. And I had to like have him like reaffirm the recap for me, because I'm like, wait, is that what just, break down? Is that what he just said? Because like when my brain is in that fog like that, like I can stare at a wall for like an hour if I want, like if that, be like meditating. No, it's not that bad. I'm not like drooling at staring at the wall. It's not that bad, but like it's the comprehension level of things. Sometimes it's like I have to really focus on it since the COVID, and it's ridiculous. And it's not because I'm smoking pot. Okay.
Oh, you big stoner.
Pot fog.
Because I actually stopped smoking. So Steve knows, he'll tell you. I stopped smoking as much. I just kind of like was like, it's just too much for me right now.
Naturally baked, y'all.
Yeah. No, that shit fucking.
That COVID fucks with your brain.
It does. It does. It brings like this fog will roll in, and I'm just like, fuck. I'm watching something, and I'm like, God damn it. I really, I already have ADHD. Like I've dealt with that since I was a kid. But this isn't the same thing. This is not the same fucking thing. Yeah, this has extra letters. Oh my God. But yeah, and I'm like watching the show that Ricky was doing, and I'm like, all right, I got that right. Am I getting that right? And it was a good one. I like that. That was good.
Shadow Man Refugee's here.
Shadow Band? He better be. I sent him a message. I know. He's always like, do it so late, Lucky. Listen, Shadow Band. This all started partially because of you, okay? I don't know if I told you this, but Shadow Band and Jack Sis and I and all of us motherfuckers used to be up on Discord like all hours of the night. And oh my gosh.
Doing like group Jordan Petersons.
Oh my
like
God.
5 of them going, and they're all.
Did you guys see that? Did you guys see the Tyler Fisher, Jordan Peterson?
Oh,
no.
Good Lord.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. You showed it to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I showed it to you. Yes. Yes. Ricky's stream require note taking. Absolutely. Mishka's got it.
To be fair, Paul, the Brian fog is just as bad as the brain fog.
Brain fog?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, and then phenomenal. See, you guys got this message. Retracted means the comment was deleted by the user. Deleted means it was removed by the moderator. Okay. Yeah, I don't remove anybody's shit. Unless it's one of those fucking like stupid bot things. I don't remove trolls. I give trolls the link and say, come and talk with me. That's what I do.
Yeah, it's just the bots for me that I get rid of. It's just pointless. I made someone angry before. I don't know if we're able to get into Russia at all, but like,
Shadow
I
Bands.
had made a comment. I had made a comment on Saki's little video of her warmongering and stupid shit today, and she was talking about the sanctions and stuff, and somebody got angry at me because I stated something that was true that they didn't like. Damn. So they accused me of being something that I'm not.
Did you get what did you get called? I've been called like a Nazi, freaking, like supremacist. And I was called a Karen only once. I thought about it being a Karen once at the dollar store. It didn't happen, but somebody called me a Karen once for something like stupid on a chat. Like, I was like, oh yeah, no, you that.
Well, I just put in quotes basically what she said. I said, we're not trying to hurt the Russian people. We're just trying to destroy their economy to teach Putin a lesson, Psycho Saki. And then Gary comes in, Gary 12777. So you know he's real. He comes in and he says, not their fault, but it has to be done. If the Russian people don't want that, they should seek to remove Putin. And I responded simply, like the people in the U.S. did at the Capitol. They did not like that.
No, that's a foul.
Are you guys ready for this?
You can't say that.
Oh, okay.
Steve might get a little excited.
What's up?
I can say anything I want.
There's our shadow band.
I'm being fearlessly authentic. So we just were fucking playing Goose Goose Duck. I was like, I'm about to fucking go to bed, and then I see you guys are on, and then you're like, bitch, I fucking messaged you, and then I saw you messaged me a link. I'm like, oh fuck. I keep on telling her it's too late, but tonight I'm actually awake at 10:13. So
what?
Leona? Hi Al, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I was just telling about an incident that happened in a comments section.
Oh yeah?
About Russia, yeah.
I
was on this other. It's so funny how like they will respond and then somebody else will come in after that, and I think I'm talking to the same person, but I'm not. But luckily I didn't mess it up and assume that they were the same person. But it's such the same kind of response. So this Pollyanna person says to me after that, literally that's their name, Pollyanna. I can't see what's happening with that.
Pollyanna, huh?
Okay. Anyway, they said no because Biden was elected and the terrorists at the Capitol did not accept that. Putin, on the other hand, makes his opposition disappear and suppresses elections. His people did not put him there. I wish you people would stop having such a hard-on for dictators. And I responded, this was how I left it. That's hilarious, since I don't like any puppets in charge, let alone WEF darlings Trump and Putin, who you should see all the protesters the same way. If you think the Q-tards at the Capitol were terrorists, you should be consistent and see Putin protesters the same way.
Putin, Daddy McPutin.
And then I said, or better yet,
our judges say both spellings are acceptable.
View them all as, I said, or better yet, view them all as people with grievances, be they right or wrong. By the way, I'm not a you people. I'm simply a person who disagrees with you.
Like, I don't know. Like, I'm blown the fuck away at this point. Like it's I don't understand the mental fucking, like, did I wake up and the Marmot is definitely at his work again for some like
I love your laugh.
It's like, okay, well, I thought we all understood that fucking left right means jack shit, right? Like the empire's global, it's fucking operating in fucking tandem with each other. right? Like I thought we understood this. I thought the WEF fucking showed up and fucking let us know exactly what their fucking plans were, right? They're all hanging out and fucking doing their thing together. But no. Now it's different. I'm like, come on, man. Like I don't know. I'm freaking the fuck out over the shit. I'm like, COVID broke everyone's brains, and now everyone's brains are broken further. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? They're all fucking bad guys. Like, they're all bad guys. There's no good guys in this story.
Right?
Dude.
Yes.
We're supposed to have like at least some balance.
Like,
where are our coordinates? We need to plan and have fucking coordinates. We need to have a place where we are going to go and drop our community because we got to plan this shit.
I'm fucking floored. I'm like jaw to the fucking floor. Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't have the capacity to understand this. Like, I fucking I don't like. It's totally fucking batshit. Like,
we just don't have words. People who always have the words have no fucking words, Shadow.
Right? And like, dude, I have been the biggest fucking Machno stan for like fucking 3 years. I have been like the fucking fanboy for Nestor Machno and the free territories of Ukraine. I have fucking went to bat. Hi, Kit. I went to fucking bat for fucking the free territories of Ukraine against the fucking Bolsheviks, against the fucking Western empires, against the fucking White Army. I went to fucking bat all this fucking time because I really fucking enjoy like Ukrainian history, right? And I really fucking enjoy like the project that they were trying to put together where they were just like, yeah, fuck all this. I'm not picking sides on fucking left, right. I'm not fucking picking sides on which fucking empire I'm gonna bow to. Right. Like, I claim my independence now. Like, there is no such thing as a harmless fucking power. Like, no. And now it's like we're reliving 1918 right now. Like, yeah. And I'm like, I support
where are our coordinates?
Left alone.
Fucking coordinates. I need to know on a map where we're going.
Hi, Yona.
Orale,
Orale.
A plan.
Orale, wait.
One space.
See, look, there's Jack too in the chat, and Jack was there, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to bed, guys." And then I see this shit, and I'm like, you know, I keep on telling her it's too late, and like I'm still awake, and my brain is broken, and like my brain is broken to the point of like, kind of like, you know, when you're starting to feel mushrooms that like, you know, like that fucking like nothing makes sense anymore. That has been my entire fucking day.
Look.
Like,
the giggly space. Yeah.
Well,
the marmot. You enter the marmot zone.
Highway to the marmot zone.
Can't afford that.
Look, you can hang out over here.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, and like, so like I've told my backstory a little bit, but like, so my great grandparents were very adamant about being ethnically German, right? But they come from a fucking a part in the old Serbian Empire that's like on the border of Romania, right? So like, and they spoke Yiddish. So I don't know if we were gypsies or if we were fucking Jews or what, or what the whole fucking. But I feel like a very strong connection here to fucking Ukraine and the steppe in general, right? Like, and like through all of my like study of history, I see fucking that part of the steppe as the gateway to the east and the west, and that is always the battleground of empires, right? Jesus fucking Christ, the Greeks even talked about fucking the Amazons coming from the steppe, right? And like,
that's amazing.
I'm like, I thought we had already known this was the fucking place that fucking empires do battle. Like, and I thought we knew that war was just fucking old men sending young men to die. Like,
well, excuse me, Shadow Bando. Wasn't France first man killed in Sarajevo, and that began World War I? Hello?
Well, and that's the other fucking thing. Is like,
he was the prince of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and then when I mean, you probably know all this, but you know, Yona's World War I history ride.
Right.
This is
Right.
how
And-
World War I happens.
This is exactly because battle lines are being fucking drawn and the allies are fucking forming themselves. And I don't fucking like
people
this
are
at
all
all.
backed by
This
the
is a
same
fucking
people.
dangerous fucking precedent that we're setting where
NATO
people are
has
fucking
been
taking sides.
antagonizing.
And it's
NATO's
all
been
funded
poking
by the
bear.
same
NATO's
organization.
been pushing for this fight. I'm sorry, El. Go ahead. I didn't mean.
Sorry, I'm just saying it's all funded by the same organization. I just had to get that out.
Exactly.
Yes.
And not only that, it's like, and I tweeted this like my first week on fucking Twitter. I was like, this is a little strange where the fucking world is about to slumber into war after moving all of their weapons of war and fucking troop movements and shit to the borders and getting it ready for fucking war. But they just happen to slumber into it as soon as the fucking entire populace of the world is like, you know what? This is fucking bullshit. We're done with this. This is fucking stupid. And then all of a sudden fucking war pops off and people are like, yeah, this is totally cool. I'm like, no, it's not.
Not cool.
You fell for it. They're falling for it.
Duped again.
Well, Shadow, this reminds me of when the Illini Confederacy was confronted. And, the Illini Confederacy used to be a confederacy of 15 different tribes across Illinois. Probably the most famous chief would have to be the chief of the Meshigami, who was Chief Chicago, for whom a city in Illinois was named. Who hasn't heard of Chicago, right? Shout out Kit Cabello there. Big fan of the Heartlands media. But anyhow, the survivors of the Illinois Confederacy are with the Peoria Consolidated Tribe. And their reservation land is close to the Western Cherokee Res over there in eastern Oklahoma. But, it's a...
I can't help it.
It began as a divide and conquer with just a few. It's all about coalition building. And when I talk about NATO just kind of overstepped. NATO has continued to expand, and it
the order of the Holy Anointed Mormon is spoken.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, Yono, that's my bad, brother.
Jack dropped it.
I was interrupting you with my fancy fairy of ferrets.
And we're like trying not to die laughing in the middle of
I don't end in a uck.
I mean, who could
I had to
argue
rephrase.
against
Oh my
the
God.
fact that the ferrets are the superstars of the movie The Beastmaster?
Yes.
All of them, even the ones they're not in, they're the stars.
They are.
But I mean, in The Beastmaster, the ferrets, every time he sends those two ferrets off, they save the fucking plot, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, that's just because ferrets don't fuck around.
That's just good
Ferrets
writing,
never
bro.
fuck
Oh my
around.
god.
They're tube sharks. They're just tube sharks.
Yep.
I call them carpet sharks.
Carpet surfers. I am an initiated carpet surfer
I've
myself.
got my hand up.
I
too.
have
We're
fucking
both
surfed
raising our
through
hand.
fucking
You got the rug
carpets, through
burns?
fucking rocks, through
You got like the rug burns to prove it?
No. Lighter burns, all of it.
I'm all fucking. I know this is fucking crack rock, even though it's probably cat litter or fucking, a fucking piece of rice, fucking drywall, whatever. I know this is fucking crack rock. But
Oh my God.
Is that a Top Gun reference because of the danger zone?
Yeah, I tried.
You watched
Rest
it?
in peace, Goose. We miss you, Goose.
Oh, does he die? I don't know that. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, Goose dies.
No, I don't
Yoda,
care.
spoiler
It's
alert.
fine.
If you haven't seen Top
I
Gun,
really don't care.
That's a plot device.
I really don't care.
mute, quick.
That's half the movie's plot device.
That's fucking
No.
Just don't ruin the Shawshank Redemption for me. And
I haven't seen it recently, so I can't. Got you covered.
that one I haven't seen yet, and I want to.
Well, I can ruin it for you in real life. In real life, before he died, they actually found him and put him back in jail.
Oh.
Jesus.
I
That was
don't
like a
know
reality
how-
spoiler.
Guess
Not
what?
really, 'cause
Ripped
we do
off.
that.
We got another one.
That's the
Alright, we need to
Yeah.
These are just
Okay,
not popping,
Chris.
man. This is a good Friday night.
Jalen.
Yeah, I decided to.
Whoa,
What?
Marcus is loud. Marcus,
Yeah, I just got off.
is loud.
I just got off work super late, so I decided I'd just swing by and say hey real quick.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go see
What
him,
is up, my
Marcus.
guy? You just got off work, dog. It's like 9:30 over there, bro. Oh.
I'm technically still working, but
Yeah, I know.
There's an awful
I'm glad my
You're
camera's
working
not
now.
on right now. Yeah, I mean, I'm
You're
actually kind of
multitasking.
telling the truth. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
You know, I
Oz
really,
Whistles actually called for it last night. He was like, "Lucky, you need to do a stream. Like, you just need to do one. Like, we need to gather the fam." And
This
I'm like,
this is
last night, I'm like-
organization in its
I'm like-
fucking anarchy state. It just happens.
"It does. It does. It just happens." I just go, "Okay, fine," and I go, "Steve, let's make a thing for later." I didn't even tell him what time. I didn't tell him anything. Like, we just kind of like, okay, it all organically fucking happens.
That's why
Yeah, I mean, tomorrow's gonna be insane for me, so I figured if I was gonna be able to have any freedom, I just needed to hop on something tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we needed it. But yeah, Oz
so
Whistle.
glad to have you, Jack.
And what a
We're gonna have to
fucking
stand
time,
out to
and
the
what a
views
fucking
out.
Good to have
time it
be
is,
on with
bro.
all y'all. I love this. Is like this is my dream panel right here.
I know, right?
Yeah, dude. Like,
I'm fangirling over
this
everyone,
is
man.
this is
I
this is
love
officially
all
the
y'all.
refugee stream.
middle,
I've
so much
claimed
love.
it the refugee stream because I feel like I'm a
Alright.
refugee from every fucking where, man. Like seriously, like
We got
half
all the
my
family we
fucking
need,
people
y'all.
are like, oh yeah, let's go and fucking fight Russia, and half my other people are like, yeah, it's good that Russia's fucking killing people, and I'm like, no,
And we're like,
They're not the right people then. They're stupid.
That's because actual. No, I'm not gonna say actual. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
go there with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not doing the
we
actual
don't have
thing.
to say
Like,
actual.
Yeah, I'm not
if
doing the
anything,
actual.
One thing has been
We
fucking
know.
proven through all this is I sure as fuck don't want to be a fucking leftist because I've
I
heard
was just gonna say,
the past
I don't want
fucking
any
2 years.
labels applied to
Well,
me.
the
Fuck
real
that.
left wants lockdowns. Oh well, the real left
Listen.
doesn't want lockdowns,
We
and the
were
real
in-
left
saying
fucking
is-
wants mandatory injections. And the real left doesn't really want mandatory injections. And the real left supports workers when they fucking
is no left.
spontaneously fucking organize.
How
Oh,
about
but the
we're
real
just
left wants fucking
fearlessly
planned
authentic?
organization.
Some people have confused bodily autonomy and then like workers' rights to not include having sovereignty over bodily autonomy is like agency. They've forgotten about agency, Yona. Yona, what's the
Yeah.
you know where I'm going with this?
Uh-huh.
You let them get your agency once, what happens generationally?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Arcus,
You don't get it
everyone
back.
on this panel knows this actually.
Mhm.
And you know, my advice to everyone is don't generalize, kernelize, and use your secret blend of herbs and spices.
There you go.
Yeah.
Normalization is the key. You're absolutely right.
That's right. And it'll
Did
be
you say
finger-licking
marmonization
good
is the
truth,
key?
man. Get all packed up
Finger-licking
with the Yona,
good.
baby.
Marmotization is the key.
Yes, the key is a hybrid marmotization effort.
Like,
Yay.
what
Focused
fucking
around
planet
Oham.
is this, man? I want off this fucking
We're gonna
shit.
call it an
I
unsynced
know.
tank.
I want our
We're
It's
called
own
not
an
the
country.
planet,
unsinkable
it's the
tank.
people.
Get
we
me
have
out
our
of
own
this
country,
gorilla
please?
suit.
Where is our sovereign land? What land are we claiming? Where is it on
I've
the
seen
map?
too much
Where do we
hierarchy.
have to go?
I've had
That's
enough.
a lie.
I'm done. Let's
And
go.
can we stop hiding history for fuck's sake? That
If
shit's
Ukraine
ridiculous.
is sovereign, then what is Libya and what is Syria and what is Yemen and what is Iraq?
I want
And what is
our sovereign
Afghanistan?
land.
The 1%'s playground for imperialism.
Well, excuse me, El. What is a big lithium deposit in Bolivia? We coup who we want to coup, brah. Isn't that what Elon Musk said?
Yeah,
For real.
yeah.
That's an awful deposit of lithium
The
you
Musk-
got there.
the Musk
Be
writing is
awful
the
if
weirdest
something
one.
Terrible happened to it.
And that one hit, I was just like, but you guys know that his family, right? And they're like, what about it? And I'm like, he doesn't have the background he portrays. His Horatio Algo story, like what was that phrase, Hunter S. Thompson? I was just remember earlier, Shadow, I was telling you about it. Pure Horatio Alger shit. It's the background story all politicians have, right? He wrote about it in Fear and Loathing on the
Horatio.
campaign trail.
Yep.
Yeah, I probably pronounced it for shit, but
Bootstraps.
nothing's
No.
changed. Nothing's literally changed since then. It's the hero story, the bootstrap story.
Yeah.
Pure Horatio
Yeah.
Alger shit.
Oh,
Like-
we gotta find that clip where John McCain and Lindsey Graham and Biden and them, and they're all doing like hacky sack, and they're playing Twister and everything with all the guys.
What
taking off
is
the aliens with
a-
their swastika
New Year's
patches,
week,
and they got
everybody's
cookies
playing hack
and
out
sandwiches.
out in the
It's a
spring.
gay old time, you guys.
Did that happen in Davos?
No, that happened in Kiev 7 years ago when they installed the Poroshenko government.
Isn't that
Oh, when for the first Maidan coup, or was that the
Yeah.
second?
Yeah,
I get my cues confused, man.
I get my
Been so
I get my fucking coups in Eastern Europe confused. There's one every other fucking year by some
I mean, the
fucking
Baltic
jackass
coups,
that fucking
I'm not
thinks
really.
that they fucking have the right to fucking claim the fucking ownership
All right.
over people's
Thank
fucking
you.
blood and shit, man. This
Listen,
is fucking.
I have to share something with you guys. Are you guys ready?
Woohoo!
I think they look ready.
Mhm.
Are they ready?
They're ready.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's a yes.
I think Shadow's looking into our souls, everyone.
Alex Trainer has a new video, guys, and you guys know how much I love Alex Trainer. He was a Connecticut
Oh
comedian.
yes.
The Connecticut.
I'll be quiet.
Connecticutite.
He's the Connecticut.
He's the Connecticut and meow.
Yes. Okay. So he has a new one. It's ragu for one.
Ragu is gross.
I know, but wait until you see his video. Oh my god.
Ragu for what? That's some
Meat
bullshit.
flavored sauce.
Like ragu for one. Not only have you sunk to the low of eating ragu, but now you're eating ragu alone, wondering if you'll ever find someone to share your ragu with. Well, wonder no more. It's time to acknowledge it's not going to happen for you, and you need to give up. The only one you'll get to squeeze is this single-serve pouch. Just poop it all over your pasta while you say to yourself, you deserve this. It's time to resign yourself to a life of solitude, just like the man on the gondola. Purchasing this is a cry for help, and no one at the self-checkout line will say, hey, are you
Like
okay?
everything.
'Cause in the grocery store of life, you're the cheapest pasta sauce, and your fate is to suffer in silence. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's not true. No one deserves to feel like ragu, and no one deserves to go through the experience of eating ragu alone, or eating ragu in general. If you or anyone you know is in need, please call the National Crisis Prevention Hotline, 1-800-EAT-RAGU.
Oh man.
Wow. That is
Wow.
like
That
that
was
hit
fire.
me on all the levels.
Isn't he
Great.
adorable?
That was
Oh my
fucking
god.
fire.
I love him so much.
His welcome to Connecticut video where he sings. I love that video because he doesn't try to like overplay it. He does it perfectly.
He does. Yeah, he's really good. He's really good. We actually
If you're a
have
shitty
some-
singer, lean into being a shitty singer. Don't fight it. Don't pretend you're a good singer. and
Oh
suck.
yeah, that's horrible.
I mean, I'm just in general. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not good at an instrument.
I agree.
I'm just,
This is
I'll go crazy with it.
But you see,
Alex-
Alex Trainer is fearless and authentic, unvarnished.
He should be
straight
on the
fuck
show.
up.
he's been
You'll
on
feel Holyfield with him.
he's been on
Dude,
Steve's
that would be
show
good.
before.
Have him on.
Well, here's
I
the
want to
thing.
talk to him.
We've talked to Alex.
I mean, obviously,
before.
he's probably shy. I mean, he talks dead ass about his social anxiety, so he's probably.
No, well,
I didn't understand.
no, he came on the show before. He came on and talked
Oh,
with us
cool.
for like 2.5 hours once, an improv random thing that Steve and I did. He deals with a lot of depression. He's the depressed guy in the truck. Remember the depressed guy in the truck? Did I show you guys this one?
Yeah. I remember that one.
Okay, so if you guys
He's so
haven't
miserable.
seen,
It's the
he's
perfect
miserable
screensaver
and he's
right there,
depressed,
folks.
but
Nothing
he's
says
starting
mental health
to
crisis
do.
quite like a sad.
He's doing videos again,
Oh, cool.
so that's good. And we need to
Getting the band back
remind
together.
him that he needs to come back on the show. All right, I'm gonna play one more of him because we just need this. We need this right now. This is our mutual aid. This is Alex that will bring us our mutual laughter.
Adult man riding in a tiny monster truck. As you can see, I haven't been doing too well. I've been so depressed I haven't been able to finish the movie about how depressed I am. And it's been a long time now, considering I shot this footage in July and it's late January. But in the summer, I had noticed a pattern in my previous videos where I could tell I was going downhill from the fact that I was buying tiny cars, which I realized I did because I no longer felt I could be funny. So I let the car do all the comedic heavy lifting 3 times in a row. It was my way of putting on a mask, of trying to be funny so people don't realize you can't even make yourself laugh. So you get to ignore all the destruction your mind is causing you, and you won't have to do the hard work of pushing yourself out of bed and accepting that you were trying to fix your problems by making them a lot worse. That without realizing it, you were digging your own grave, to the point it became a real emergency. So you couldn't just easily go back to your normal routine of doing things like staging a tiny car demolition derby in a random parking lot. For some reason, easy things are now hard. And every day feels like it feels when you show up at Chick-fil-A only to realize it's Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. And the thrill you get when you hear the noise of the crowd just isn't there right now.
Sunday.
Don't use your Bono voice. Use your Macfisto voice.
I never stopped wanting to make videos. I just stopped being able to do it. And I still forced myself to buy those first 2 cars, even if it was a really bumpy road. And I knew at some point the bumps in the road would cause me to go past my tipping point, and that eventually I would just sit in front of a blank page and decide nothing I had to say was worth saying. Then, because I couldn't do stuff, I'd feel bad about not doing stuff, which ensured I definitely wouldn't be doing stuff, which made me feel more bad about stuff. And now I feel the baddest I've felt in a while, and like I'll never really beat this. I'm at the point where I tell every psychiatrist, look, I've been around the block. I mean, I did electroshock therapy, which implies a certain amount of desperation considering the main side effect is that I don't remember filming any of this footage. All I ever wanted to do was make movies and entertain people. And now I'm 32, living at home, and my mom's driving me to the hospital 3 times a week so they can put me under general anesthesia and induce seizures in my brain. No one can say I'm not trying very hard to not die. And I'm a real tank for hanging in there, for forcing myself to go to appointments and do a pale imitation of the things I used to do. There's nothing stopping me from doing those things again but me. I just don't feel the splash when I hit the water right now, and that makes it hard to give a shit, which makes it very, very hard to get back on the right track. I'd like to not be stuck in Connecticut, but how am I going to get out when I'm too sad to even move? And if I do manage to get out, how will I stop myself from feeling so alone when I'm surrounded by opportunity? How can I remind myself that there will always be a part of me that wants to take a tiny monster truck to the big city? And that's really cool. And maybe all I need to do is stop thinking about the bad stuff and make the damn video already. It doesn't even need to be good, just make it. Because doing it will make you feel happy and proud, even if you get nothing in return. Even if nobody watches, you get a massive bruise. Like the poet Ringo Starr once said, it don't come easy. And to be honest, I don't think I'll ever achieve the traditional definition of success, or even be reimbursed for the cost of all these tiny cars. But if I can continue making what I think is good shit, maybe I can be amusing to some people.
Yo, good shit, man.
Is that hot, Hood?
And maybe I can start being amusing to myself again. Because I'm not lazy or ugly or untalented. I've just got a lot of problems. And I know that while I project a shitload of negativity, deep down, I'm an optimist to the core, no matter how frustrating it can get. Like when a pushy Israeli woman disrupts my shoot so her kid can go in it. Or when after 2 days of trying, you still can't get it to float on water skis so you can tow it from the back of a boat. The world hasn't ended yet. And you still like pizza. And while objectively there's no meaning to life, that doesn't mean you can't pretend there is. You just need to savor the brief moments where you don't think all your thoughts are bad and everyone hates you. And then maybe they won't be so brief anymore. It sucks that you have to deal with this, but you're you. And you can't just easily return yourself to the store. And I guess if I had to admit it, I wouldn't rather be anyone else. Clinical depression and all.
Fucking love this guy.
Yeah, he was fucking straight up.
Fearlessly authentic,
Yeah.
my friends.
He's doing it. He's using his core.
I love it.
Whoa.
Okay, do that, but I'm do it the other way around.
Oh my. I don't know.
Yeah, but like, guys, I'm like, I was having that fucking moment of depression in the truck earlier today, right? Like, I am fucking like flabbergasted that people that I would assume to be conscious
Yeah.
are falling for the same exact fucking playbook.
Dude, it's bad. I thought I was going to be a Karen at the dollar store. I was talking about this at the beginning of the stream. I felt like I was just going to stand in the middle of the dollar store and just scream. People are just completely like Oh my God. I don't have a mask on. I don't wear masks. I have no idea what the fucking ordinance is for the state, the town, the fucking goddamn dollar store. I don't give a fuck. I'm not wearing the fucking thing. Like, that's just all there is to it. And everybody's avoiding me like, and here I come with my cute
I have
little
an
dog.
oxygen dependency.
Oh my God.
That's what I tell people.
It's weird because you would think, like, if back in the day it would be like you wore a mask, somebody'd be like, "Oh, what's wrong with you?" But
Right.
if you're not wearing a mask,
Bass
now
backwards.
you're the sick one. You're the weird one.
Yeah.
You're
It's
sick
so weird how
until
it's
proven
reversed.
healthy. Sick
Right.
until proven healthy.
And dude, like the same fucking people that just fucking couple fucking weeks ago, or not even a week ago, Monday, were the fucking people that I work with that were like, yeah, fuck the fucking government, and the every time we go to war, it's for bullshit, and there's no fucking reason that anyone should be fucking fighting for these fucking rich fucks. It never does anything for us.
And
Now everyone's beating the fucking war drum like it's a good fucking idea. Like something fucking changed radically. Like,
dude, it's nuts. The fucking, like, I went to the store and I thought I was going to lose it just by the energy in the fucking store. People are robotic. They're avoiding, like, oh my God. It is. It's like walking out of the AC fucking restaurant or a fucking place and going out into the heat, and it's smacking you in the face. And that's what it feels like being around these people. And I'm like, I'm really fucking scared at this point. We need
one mass formation is coming to a close. The other one, I was just gonna say, Shadow.
It's not even fucking mass formation hysteria anymore. This is psychosis now.
Yeah, we are there. We
now
are there.
Fucking real psychosis because people are so fucking jacked the fuck up because they were locked in their fucking house, and rather than fucking fighting the fucking people that did this to them, they want to go and fucking halfway across the world to fucking kill people. What is wrong with
that's
people?
How Shadow says hello. That's
how are you
how he
doing?
says hi. How you
Hi.
doing?
Hey, Marcus, do you think people are going to line up to join up and volunteer to go fight over there? Because I don't see it here on the reservation.
I'd say everyone in Congress, all their kids can go. We can stay here.
I have no fucking allegiance to Washington, D.C. I have no allegiance to fucking Moscow. I have no allegiance to fucking Beijing. I have allegiance to my people. That's it. None of those people are mine.
Hey,
send the cabinet. Send the whole fucking cabinet. Send send everybody.
How are you?
I want to see Nancy Pelosi's nephew, Gavin Newsom, on Russian battle lines on the front. I want to see those Photoshop photos because his ass will never go.
Sons. I don't want like regular fucking people. I want the politicians to all be out.
I don't want politicians' sons. Send the politicians actually, just like send Pelosi and Chuck Schumer's old ass over there. Just send them. That's more entertaining.
Send Kissinger. Listen, all the
Joe Biden, go fight.
Like
yes, I want the people who are likely to break a hip to go fight.
Yeah, I want Joe Biden out there at the front line.
Nancy Pelosi with an M16. Yeah,
and something that like I find really fucking like just about modern warfare is that we think because we're seeing bombs drop that warfare is just explosions, whereas in fucking Nam there was actual close-up photos of fucking people blown to fucking bits.
Yeah.
There was dead people.
There's no coverage of it now.
We don't have any concept of what fucking warfare is. We don't have any concept.
I was back when the CIA worked
I do.
the state.
To smuggle out that collateral murder video, and that collateral murder video was like the only killing we saw in Baghdad.
That was a
and
war
Julian
crime.
Assange is still sitting in Belmarsh prison because of that collateral murder video of that helicopter crew killing them Reuters journalists. You know,
because
so
people actually saw what war is.
Off the face. Unless it's violence they want you to get mad about here in the United States when they're constructing the narrative, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, when you're funding neo-Nazis in the Ukraine, part of the Azimov Battalion, which was, I think, what was that, a stay-behind, kind of like a project, Operation Gladios, kind of a stay-behind to terrorize the local populations, to create divisions, to create separatist movements, all this shit. It's the same shit. Like Michael Aquino, who wrote the PSYOPs manual, he made this big mistake that all these fuckers made. First off, he's an actual Satanist. Like he dead ass
He's a horrible
himself calls
person.
them.
And a legend.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Jack's dropping.
Yeah, he is in
100%.
dark. He is in dark
roll.
magic.
Read his
Yeah.
manual, because when you read his manual, he doesn't ever think that this shit's gonna come visit back on the Empire. He assumes that that's why his shit's horrible. It's because he's literally thinking that it will never happen here.
Ever.
And pointing that out to people is key, because people are always like, well, but the propaganda of one alone, it's like, okay, Smith-Mundt Modernization Act 2012 that was passed during Obama. It gave the funding mechanism to Smith-Mundt, which was an act originally created to prevent domestic propaganda.
Yep.
Again, it's all an inversion.
Yeah,
everything's upside down, and that's why the Boeing regulates the FAA, and the Comcast regulates the FCCs, and Pfizer regulates the FDA. And everything is upside. It's beyond even regulatory capture, and they had to admit in court. Like, for example, with the Boeing 737 MAX and that maneuvering characteristics augmentation system that they neglected to tell the fucking pilots about, and come to find out,
autopilot that
Boeing
takes a plane into the ground.
Yeah, and come to find out, Boeing had to admit, well, we do our own inspections, and then we tell the FAA. I'm like, you got to be
so you guys, we just found this body. We're gonna let the murderer do the investigation.
Yeah,
right.
See, it was the same when I watched an FDA live stream of the VRBAC meeting. That's the Vaccine and Related Biologics Advisory Council or Committee.
Yeah,
that's their panel of experts. Yeah. And they're up there, and Pfizer's this.
They're actually
Pfizer's
saying
that.
the truth.
And I found out
as
like
much as they
half
can.
their fucking half their funding for the FDA is directly from Pfizer.
Oh,
they know that nobody will watch the
budget.
Entire thing, like 8 hours of a fucking meeting. They won't. They know that most people are not going to watch that.
And see, and like that's the like this everything is wag the dog. And it doesn't matter from what side it is. It doesn't fucking matter. It never did.
It's the same
really
side.
what it boils down to.
They're all on the same fucking side. They're on the
looking at the different side of the same
Did we
ass.
say hi to everybody?
This
That's my
meeting
grandfather would say.
that them guys just had in Munich, all of those people, like
that Munich security
that
conference.
was the preamble.
Yeah.
Vice
I
President
saw
Boris
everything coming.
Yeah, and like okay, so here's what I see happening next, right? So Ukraine is occupied fucking territory, right? Until whenever they say that they're not going to occupy anymore, because they say we don't really want to occupy. But yeah,
I think
whatever.
us not providing arms could go a
so,
long way too.
So the fucking Nazis that are in Ukraine, where are they going to go? They're going to go west into fucking Romania, which already fucking has a history of fucking Nazis. And they're going to go north into Poland, which also has a fucking history of fucking Nazis. And they're going to have a bunch of riled up motherfuckers that are ready to fucking go to war. And then you're going to have those people crossing the fucking border into occupied fucking Ukraine, causing fucking terrorist attacks against the Russian forces.
Yes.
And then that creates a new pretext of, now we got to go and fucking fight the Nazis in Poland too. And then you have NATO fucking come in, and then it actually becomes World War. That's how fucking easy this shit's going to happen.
That's how the last one
It's so
happened.
easy.
Is there actually Nazis in Poland or in the Ukraine? I don't know much.
Yeah.
Neo-Nazis.
The
Azov Battalion,
they
but
were an actual
also
Hitler allied group.
Okay, but see, here's the issue. So
sorry.
Here's the realist part of it is that fucking like National Socialism is a fucking symptom of a primary fucking condition called nationalism, right? So you have Ukrainian nationalists that are radicalized into some fucking crazy ass idea about how they're the fucking master race, right? It's happening in Poland too, but it all fucking dem socks, yeah. That's just left wing fascism. But anyway, Stalin was right actually on that. That was the only thing he was right on. But yeah, so you have fucking nationalists in Romania, you have nationalists in fucking Poland that are also on the border of Ukraine. And then when all those fucking people start to get together, they're gonna say that the Russian Untermenschen are coming to fucking take over the fucking civilized Western Europe.
Look at
and
the
then
material
what
conditions
happens?
on the ground as well. Because of the balkanization, or just call it imperialism, of our setting up wanting NATO on the edge, which led to the Warsaw Pact, which led to all this like shit. And we think that we can go provide arms. This would be like if Russia was providing arms to Mexico, and we're not going to go down there and stop that shit. Are you fucking kidding me? like if there's photos of like armed groups, armed Nazis down in Mexico, which would just be hilarious because I mean, not hilarious, you know what I mean. I don't think we'd likely see that, but some armed fascist group down there that has tow rockets and advanced firepower is across our border. Like we've already got the cartels down there, so they tried to use that. So what the fuck? It's nuts,
like,
dude.
It's just how fucking thin that fucking line is now. Like we are fucking what, a half a second to fucking midnight at this fucking point, or like, and people are cheering this shit on both sides of this fucking thing. Fucking everyone's like fucking Ukraine's Nazis, and then other people are like, no, the Russians are the Nazis, and everyone's a fucking Nazi, and fucking blah 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 blah.
They don't care as long as there's Nazis we can kill. Right?
They just need
what does
to
it matter which
dehumanize
side
the
they're
And
on?
then if you're fucking fighting Nazis, then at what cost is collateral damage a bad thing? Because you have to fucking save the world from fucking Nazis all over again, right? So you're fucking just start dropping bombs. You're fucking, there's Nazis,
and this
right?
goes into
And I remember this fucking same thing because of the fucking, like, the Trotskyists were all about fucking taking out Al Qaeda and ISIS and all these fucking fascist beasts and whatever the fuck else they called them, because the Western people might be imperialists, but they're better than those guys, right? And then I fucking see the fucking inversion of the argument. Oh well, you know, the fucking U.S. empire's bad, but the fucking the Russian people surely aren't that bad, right? I'm like, no, you're doing it again.
They're all bad.
So what do you want to happen, Shadowban? Also, Shadowban, how do you know all this stuff, dog?
I feel like we saw like we were like sitting on the side of a train track.
Say hi and introduce yourself to everybody that doesn't know who you are.
Oh, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kamaru Fresh. Just interested in learning, knowing what's up, man. Shadowban seems to be. I'm just interested. How do you know this stuff, man?
Okay, so I am. Ever since I've been a young child, I have been obsessed with the study of history. Particularly the history of leading up to the First World War, the interim year between the First and Second World War, and the immediate years thereafter. I've just been obsessed with it, with the whole gambit. So I tend to I look at that history most, but I'm also very much a student of fucking ancient history. Right, so I can see fucking patterns happen over and over and over again. That's what they say when history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. Right, so I'm seeing the rhyming happening. I'm seeing it.
You know, Kamaru Fresh, Shadow Bando can put you on that Rothschild tip when it comes to who really is running these wars and making all the damn money. For example, a specific example, you've heard of George W. Bush and George H. Bush and their granddad Prescott Bush, who was banking IG Farben and other Nazi war powers directly as a
the railroads too.
For example, all these direct connections.
Yes, it's always a bank fucking funding it, right?
Listen,
because there's a lot of money up for what.
I'm not going to say there's a coincidence, but
Germany to save
the
Nazis
first
for Operation Paperclip. While the Russians were killing them all.
So you guys tell me, I could be a little crazy here, but so we went without central banks, and then like in 1900s, like there was this bank panic that was literally caused by running the banks in 1913s, and then some shady shit in Jekyll Island. They created this thing of an institute that's legit fascism, because it's not even they call it public, but it's not even, it's fully private, and it's called the central bank. And then we started having wars all of a sudden. We had world wars all of a sudden. Coincidence?
You're talking about the Federal Reserve after the Jekyll Island.
Oh, and the first Great Depression, by the way.
Right. So like all of this shit is planned. Right? It's all fucking planned. Because eventually people like us that are on the bottom are getting tired of getting the fucking boot on our neck. Oh, he disappeared. How sad.
I think it's not that we're just getting tired of it. We're getting tired of like having it on our neck and then like having people tell us that we're supposed to like thank them. For some fucked up reason.
And every time that
I'm not trying to kink shame anyone, y'all, but I don't get down like that.
but every time that it hits critical mass, they manufacture a fucking psychosis, usually stemming from nationalism and this fucking idea that for some reason, because you were fucking born in some type of imaginary border, that you're better than other people inside of another imaginary border, and you need to go and fucking kill them over it.
Well, that's the thing though. Look at Canada and look at like the live footage from like Viva Fry and Machines Everywhere and all the people on the ground. They were like that.
The
to
people
me
were
was
united.
Like, the people were united. So like when I saw them like with the Canadian flags, like it's sad that they have to use that as a common element. I would argue it's a Jungian archetype kind of the nation state, right? Somehow it's been used and weaponized. But regardless, like they weren't using that nationalism to divide. They were using it for unity.
Yeah.
There's one thing I really want to point out in today's context, and I keep pointing it out in the context of this World War III, and I really see it different from World War I and World War II, because in today's context, global corporations and global councils and global organizations really have superseded this archaic and quaint idea of nation state and sovereignty. Because, for example, as it stands right now with these so-called free trade agreements, there's already an investor dispute resolution protocol.
It takes place in tribunals that are out of
can override sovereign governments and legislature and win settlements against sovereign countries based upon potentially future profits that are lost or impacted. Investor dispute resolution is what it's called. I mean, it's you
just hit on the dark side of this.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no. I didn't mean to cut you off, man. I was gonna say you can do these things there's a way to bet on outcomes. I'm almost terrified to go look, but essentially in crypto, because you can do decentralized shit, like you don't have to go through banks or anything. There's already people that I'm gonna bet have started a World War III, Russia versus the US.
They have,
and then someone betting on the score. They have shit, dude. But guys, so that means that people are betting money in derivatives on whether or not people are going to die. It's fucking disgusting.
Let me make one phone call. I'll make one phone call. I'll find out what the odds are. I'll get you the whole odd.
Well, I've got a guy who knows a guy named Guy.
And if the fucking if COVID taught us anything, I'm sorry, if allegedly. I don't want to get this shit yeeted.
Fucking who the fuck knows anymore? Like
if the last 2 years taught us anything, it's that people are in a fucking terror to try and fucking depopulate because they don't need us anymore. This idea of class struggle and all that shit, it's no longer fucking relevant because we aren't needed anymore. They don't need the working class any fucking more. They don't need us.
I don't recommend it to anyone. First, they need you for your bucks, because everything is traded in bucks, and they need all your bucks and buckskins, and then they need all your buffalo, and then they need all your corn, and then they need all your women, and then they pass their Indian Removal Act and put your ass on the Trail of Tears, and then they kill you all. And so now everyone is Native American. And then the policy Uncle Sam has for everyone is the same policy that's been perfected against all of our tribes. So
that ties back into fucking nationalism
in the United States this year.
And that ties directly back into nationalism, because for some fucking crazy reason, people seem to think that, oh, that would never happen to me because I fucking have this citizenship. I have this little fucking social security card. I have this little fucking this thing that says I was born here. That's actually makes me better than the fucking savages that my nation did it to, right? Like there's this fucking crazy idea that these people fucking have.
Savages. Can I just say I'm with the savages?
I'm with the savages.
I'm with the savages. I want the people that are resilient, that know what it is, and that know your value in a tribe, and that have your fucking back. I'm with the fucking savages.
I
will live with them.
Murdering millions of people for an imaginary unit of fucking value, right? And like Tina was fucking going deep down these fucking rabbit holes recently, dude, like way deep down these rabbit holes. But you can tie it back into Babylonian money magic.
Mm-hmm.
This is fucking shedding blood.
Y'all, go check out her Discord. She has an amazing
valuable currency we've ever had in these hills, because a Cherokee buckskin is an actual deer hide backed currency that you can actually wear. It's fungible. You can carry it around. You can even make a wallet out of it.
I was just gonna say, like, so
or drum.
How much truth is it there about the seashells?
We could do it though, right? We could have our stories. We can have our deer hide drums, and we can beat our fucking drums in the woods as savages together. I'm good with that. Oh, we're deer.
The stories of the and again, this may have been like the northwestern tribes. I heard this from this guy. He's a forecaster, but it was fascinating. He was telling about how there is this like area that deep sea divers, like generations of like first peoples, like they would go and they could hold their breath very long. It's just because they practice all the time, right? And they would get these shells and they would use those shells as currency because they could wear them. So it was like multifaceted.
They still do that.
Yeah.
That tribe is still alive. They still do that. They're off the coast of Africa near Guinea-Bissau.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just south of Cote d'Ivoire and Togo and Benin.
You're right about fungibility. Like you nailed fungibility, man.
Something needs to be said about where we're at too, as in regards to planning, right? There's this fucking classical idea that fucking markets are anarchy of production and that fucking what we need is a fucking state planned fucking economy, right? That's the fucking classical Marxist, sorry, not Marcus. Classical Marxist and Leninist fucking idea.
Classical Marxist.
But what we are in now is a system of fucking planned economy based around manufacturing scarcity that doesn't actually exist organically so they can keep the fucking boot on your neck. That was in 75. Now they are still manufacturing scarcity, but they also need to get rid of you because they've replaced you with fucking machines and they don't want you around breathing up their air anymore. So they're fucking ginning up these fucking mass murder events for you to fucking fall for again. Like, this is very fucking basic. This is what capital does. This is what the state does. This is what they do. I work in favoring you. This is what they fucking do to kill you, to fucking make you kill each other so that they don't have to fucking deal with you anymore and you won't fucking overthrow them. This is the same fucking playbook that they've been using for thousands of years, and
I'll let you guys hear it from a survivor.
For it.
I'll get you this video.
Yeah, I'm like,
I gotta play Klaus.
Yeah.
So
You
Jack
will
and I
eat
were
the bugs.
talking. Jack and I were talking the other night, and you know what we were talking about? We were talking about how we need to expand the Lucky Burrito into being our mutual aid network, as in, like, we all know a lot of fucking shit. We all have aid for each other, and we need to know how to get from point A to point B and fucking survive this shit. We need the mutual aid of each other. We need to know, like, what the fuck do we do if the fucking shit goes down? Where are we gonna go? Like, we need to do this. We need to work
the surveillance is so far fucking beyond our fucking imagination now at this point that a mutual aid network in a fucking parallel society doesn't work. You have to break the fucking empire within. Like, you can't fucking go. Like, I was just because I was surfing a VPN earlier.
The mutual aid as our how-to, though, is what I'm getting at. We need to have a how-to. How the fuck do we do that?
I don't know. Like,
that's what we're gonna do, though.
Every contemporary fucking every like fucking classical argument and solution based fucking model, it doesn't account for anything that's happening, and it's happening so fast now. They perfectly set their fucking dominoes up, and like I was
time to play anymore. This is what we gotta do.
We're out of fucking time. We're out of time for these fucking stupid games. So like,
what are we doing?
The nation state doesn't exist anymore. No, the U.S. empire doesn't exist anymore. It's a fucking global empire.
Thank you.
So what is our plan?
There's an old.
What are we gonna do then?
And Lucky, I think like part of it is you got to identify the correct contradiction in the system, right? Too many people have like said it's just capitalism. We replace that with socialism. But if you haven't thought about the central planning aspects and never questioned the role of the state, then we're just going to have more of the same. Because you can call it whatever you want. That murder machine. Never mistake a lawnmower for a fleshlight, because you'll get fucked.
Yeah. So what is our plan, though? This is what we're going to do now.
We got to use
our
that
fucking plan. We need our coordinates.
So, again,
I need to know where we're going. I need to know what we're doing. Like, we're fucking out of time.
Well, I don't even know if that's fucking possible anymore. Knowledge. Like, dude, they're fucking building such a fucking, like, because I was surfing a VPN earlier looking for fucking oil fields in the Black Sea and fucking offloading shit for fucking oil and gas in the Black Sea. What I stumbled upon was Exxon has partnered with I forgot what has partnered with another fucking technology group to fucking put satellites into the fucking sky to monitor emissions, so that they of course can tax you upon your fucking emissions, so they can do all the
Shadow, those are
refineries
just
in the
there
fucking
to make sure that our green fascism goes.
Yeah.
Green awesomeness,
That-
you guys.
and think,
Totally not fascist.
and
It's public-private awesome.
so they can tax the people that are refining the fucking fuel more than the people that are actually consuming the fuel. That's what it's really about. But that notwithstanding, if they're building that type of fucking surveillance, then they already have everything else in fucking place, and there's not a fucking thing we can do about it. I'm like so goddamn doom and gloom because the fucking consciousness of the fucking common people is not there. It's not allegedly, fucking allegedly. Sorry,
Say it 3
Ricky.
times in front of a mirror.
Let me share something with you, Shadow Bando. At the time that General Winfield Scott arrived in northern Georgia to concentrate the Cherokee into concentration camps in preparation for the Trail of Tears Death March to Oklahoma, our tribe basically split into 3 pieces, and it is still in 3 pieces today. The Katua Band and the Western Band that are out in Tahlequah and Sallisaw, Oklahoma, and the Eastern Band that remains in North Carolina. And there's a reason for that. And I kind of see society splitting into groups again, where there are some who just kind of go along to get along. They're not trying to piss off anybody. Well, I'll just do this. Well, I'll just do that. You know, I don't really agree, but I'll comply for my career, you know. And then there are some who are like, well, whatever I got to do, I'll do anything to make Uncle Sam happy, right? And they're just totally all the way bought in, wearing 3 masks in their car by themselves, driving down a road in the middle of a national park, 20 miles from the nearest other person, right? And then you got our Eastern Cherokee band that was like, fuck that. We ain't going nowhere. We're not going to no camp. You're going to have to hunt down each and every one of us and kill us to the last fucking man. We were born on top of Old Smoky. We'll die on top of Old Smoky. Fuck around and find out. And that's why we still have our land in the Smoky Mountains. Because, you know, they fucked around and they found out. And anytime you want to find out again, come on down. It'll be a learning experience.
Yona, you want to know like a sad thing that I realized on like a lot of this was you can find precious metals in severed Indian heads and bisons and buffaloes still to this day.
Yep.
And that's still trading on the legacy of just what your buckskins and what you were talking about earlier, because that's the fungibility for the 1%. But if we have time, guys, I've got this speech by this amazing woman. She doesn't mince words. She gets some stuff wrong, but you know, she gives some details of what we're seeing from a perspective of having survived the Holocaust. And it ties in exactly what you're saying, Yona. She's seeing the same conditions that she saw that chilled her and other survivors to their bones back in those days happen now.
What I see
like seeing
right
the
now
brutality of the
is
state.
what happened before the Trail of Tears for us. And I see the same paths to genocide, and I can expound
because
upon
history
that
is
after
rhyming.
The video. I would like to point out to our international viewers that in American English, U.S. dollars and the word bucks are synonymous. Even in the year 2022, you can still say that if it costs $10, that costs $10.
Give me a
and
buck.
that refers to the Cherokee buckskin trade, which was the first trade between English-speaking colonists who began to invade into our homeland here. And they learned the Cherokee words for yes and no, and which is not English. It's Cherokee. And most Americans use and their whole lives, have no fucking idea it's Cherokee. But it is.
Yay.
And Yona, I would like to like de-appropriate however we could do it and give like meaning to those words again if you find them. Like that's just something personally. I'd like to find these words that have been taken and restore their original meaning, like meta, right? Meta, loving kindness. That word was twisted for the metaverse.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going back to the the archaic Greek.
Yeah.
Is this where I was? It
Which
was
technically is Phoenician. You're getting into Phoenician, because Phoenician was the base language for Etruscan and Greek and the other traditions in terms of linguistics.
So there's just a really quick speech. Oh,
Yoda, go down that rabbit hole.
My bad, Yoda.
The speech.
You're all good.
This ties right into what you were saying, is what Jack was saying. Is this the right? This is the right one, Jack?
Yep.
Okay. You tell me when it ends.
Yeah, just play, and then when she stops, it's about 5 minutes. The video's a little messed up.
I'm essentially here.
Yeah. She speaks after if you guys want to watch
third
that.
rail that others are not allowed to. That others get immediately called neo-Nazi. Well, I guess they can't quite call me a neo-Nazi, but I want to bring the historical perspective to what I see is going on, and that's why I'm speaking out.
Hold it up to your mouth.
As can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Still more? It'll be in my. Can you hear me? Okay, so that's better. Sorry about that.
I don't know why the video's messed up, you guys. This is
As
weird.
I am trying to say
At least
to
audio can-
whoever will listen, those who recognize that history is very relevant to what is going on today, and that in many ways it's a parallel and a replay. Others who have tried to bring that subject out into the open are vilified and quickly called neo-Nazis. Well, I'm appalled by that, and that's why I'm going around wherever to talk about it and to bring it out to the fore, because unfortunately, there really, really are very similar parallels. The fact of the matter is that the Holocaust would not have occurred if people would have spoken up and would have rejected what was going on. It wasn't just the military takeover, it was people's apathy that was the cause of the Holocaust. And I'm trying to make sure that that doesn't happen again. Because just saying never again doesn't mean very much if you're silencing those who are trying to prevent it from happening. I'll give you some examples of parallels. One of the main parallels that's so extremely disturbing, and I used to say that it was the uniqueness of the Holocaust compared to other genocides, was the total collaboration of the medical establishment. And what is happening now is being pretty much pushed and helped along by the complicit medical establishment. In Nazi Germany, the first medical murder victims were German infants and children, 1,000 of them. They were medically murdered at hospitals. That T4 program expanded to the disabled of all ages and finally in the nursing home residents. In 2020, the wealthiest governments in the world, Western Europe, United States, Canada, Australia, essentially medically murdered nursing home residents. The Nazis had called them worthless eaters. In Sweden, they called it active euthanasia. United Kingdom ordered copious orders of a drug which they prescribed at very high doses, midazolam, to medically murder. And they are still stockpiling that drug. So you have to ask yourself, where are we headed? Where are we headed? I just read that even though some of the restrictions are being lifted in some countries, at the same time, the FDA and CDC is recommending booster shots for the children. On what basis? For what purpose? The the injections, and I don't call them vaccines because they are gene transfer therapy, really.
Exactly.
Experimental gene transfer therapy.
She calls
it was
out everyone here in a
supposed
sec.
to prevent infection, prevent death, and prevent transmission of infection. Well, they now acknowledge the evidence is incontrovertible from Israel, the United States, the UK, the EMA, that the shots don't work. They don't do what they were promised to do. So my question is, if these injections don't prevent infection or transmission, why then are the vaccinated special? They're allowed to do they have all kinds of freedom, which the government allows them from time to time, right? They still have to wear masks. But the unvaccinated are being vilified as the Jews were in the 1930s and 40s. What's the difference? Just the fact that the vaccinated are obedient. And this is what I think you really have to think clearly about. Being obedient means being taken to the slaughterhouse. They won't need gas chambers this time around. The technology is far more sophisticated and far more dangerous, actually, because they can do everything remotely with people not even knowing what's happening. So I say, please wake up and wake up your neighbors. Don't let it happen again.
Her speech later on, she talks about the eugenicists behind the stuff. But also Catherine Austin Fitts talks, if you guys want to watch that too. It's pretty good.
Well, I just want to share something with you real quick.
This one?
Yeah, sure.
Better.
Of course, we
First of
know
all,
the famous phrase.
Awesome, thank you.
We declare these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. But I have a different spin on it. We declare eugenic truth to be self-evident, that all men are not created equal. You know, some of them are only 3/5 of a person, for example, and others are complete savages from an execrable race that must be exterminated per God's providence. You know?
And they're not even 3/5 of a person. They're 0/5 of a person.
0/5.
Because they're fucking savages.
Or as I like to say, 0. Hi.
Oswhistle said that the S protein is a major toxin. Don't put it in you. Omicron does not have that S protein. Get Omicron and get the fuck. Fuck them with the ass as hard as you can. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, though. Getting it is not just the easy way out, though. This is you are going to find that this is going to be linked with other things like Lyme disease. I tell you, when we got the Omicron or whatever the fuck this is that everybody fucking has with the same fucking symptoms that are linear symptoms. Skyla, my daughter, got it first. I started getting the symptoms like after her, and then Steve did. And let me tell you, they're fucking linear. Everybody gets the same fucking things. Like it is. I've never had anything like that. No variation. It's like, yep, you know.
Bioweapon.
Yeah. Bioweapon.
Alleged, we're satire.
Allegedly.
Fuck the bullshit. We don't have time for this shit anymore.
I'm just coughing.
We've already said enough fucking things. They've already come after me. They fucking came after me after I did the first stream saying that what we wanted to do on this show. They came after me and they removed videos because we reported on scientific fucking documents about this kind of shit.
How dare you, Lucky?
Sorry,
How dare
Lucky,
you use
it's
critical
my
thinking?
fault. I thought, hey, Lucky, I want to do a show.
Critical
tonight.
thinking's
I'm gonna
dangerous. The
send
media
you the
told
link.
me.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's Mariota.
John Lemon told me that.
Well, I was telling Lucky one night, I was texting her back and forth. I was like, hey, I want to do a show about the weeds. And I've got this awesome medical study about the weeds that's been clinically published from Oregon State University. It's going to be awesome, Lucky. We can even include a link to this study in the show notes, and we'll have citation and everything.
Are you bringing
2
science
days
into this?
later, this video has been removed.
No, it
from
wasn't. No,
violation of
that's not
community
how it
standards.
played out. That's not how it played out. I said, what do you want to cover? You said that. You brought the thing. We played the thing. I had 2 videos on the thing from a doctor and another, like people, other people that are much bigger channels that are covering this exact
thing.
But when I had less than 200 fucking people, I think I had less than 180 people, they come after me and remove the video for misinformation, which now means I'm a fucking terrorist. Fuck them.
Oh my.
Fuck them.
We'll all be terrorists soon.
Well,
everyone in the
been on
Facebook
the list.
Let me be
We
very
can
clear
gray
about
beard,
this, fam.
Polly.
If this is the state apparatus that we're working with, why the fuck are people still begging for legalized weed?
Yeah.
You should not fucking want anything to be fucking legalized at all. Because you know what's going to happen? The same thing that always fucking happens. Monsanto's going to get a hold of it. They're going to fucking patent it. And then the only people that are going to be able to distribute it are people like RJ Reynolds and fucking Winston-Salem and fucking Philip Morris and all these fucking, the familiar fucking ghouls. And then you won't be able to fucking get high off it anymore. And it's actually going to give you fucking cancer. Because I fucking seriously doubt that fucking...
They'll hybridize it with tobacco using... Oh my
and
god!
I
I just realized that they'll
doubt
use CRISPR
that
to do
fucking
that.
tobacco is actually giving people fucking cancer because the fucking people that were here on this land first
the additives
use that fucking tobacco for fucking ceremony for fucking thousands of years.
Tobacco
And
can
nobody
soak
was
up
fucking-
radiation,
it
guys.
wasn't-
Exactly.
And still do.
Use
And so
tobacco
why is it fucking killing fucking
a
people
tobacco
now
ceremony
other than it was fucking mass produced, fucked with, and then given to you to get you sick so that you can fucking come back for your cancer
Just like
treatments?
everything.
You do not want fucking
Like
weed
heroin.
legal.
I don't want them to tell me. Okay, wait. I don't want them to tell me what plant I can and cannot fucking grow. Fuck that. It's a goddamn plant. Fuck that. Can we please stop letting people tell us that we can have this plant, we can have all the fucking hops we want, we can have all the fucking potato fucking vodka, but we can't have the fucking plant? Fuck that. Fuck them. I'm done with this fucking bullshit. When are we
Because
fucking
destroying
done?
your life with alcohol is it's actually sadly more efficient for the state than you living a
Yes.
full life because it reduces costs long term, reduces health insurance, like all this. Like people were like the war on drugs, they're like the opioid crisis. I'm like, where the fuck have you been? We've been in this crisis since I would argue the 80s and 90s with crack and fucking heroin.
Absolutely.
Like they flood. Yeah.
They give it to you.
The end result is the genocide from the state, handed down from the state. Always the same.
It's always the fucking state that carries this out.
Yes.
People may be assholes in groups, but when
Buddy been
people
talking to
get
you at
inside
night?
of a state, they become psychotic. They become evil.
Yes.
They let every
Because it's a
fucking
self-reinforcing
terrible thing about
hierarchy.
themselves take over their fucking conscious mind, and they think it's a good idea to fucking kill mass amounts of fucking people because it feels good, because it makes that fucking nationalist thing in your brain say that you're a fucking good boy, that you're fucking part of the cause, that you're fucking for some reason fucking worthy of the fucking mantle that you have been born into because you were born inside of these imaginary fucking borders. I'm fucking done with
Put your hand over
nationalism.
your heart.
We're going to be doing something on global citizenship and education. I have people that I'm working with people, and we're going to be covering that. Like the fact that, like, fuck, man, we need to have fucking goddamn empathy in this fucking goddamn world. Where the fuck is it gone? They injected the fuck out of they injected people, and now the fucking shit's gone. Like it's just gone. It's worse.
Every time Shadowban says something based or somebody says something based, my screen just goes crazy and people disappear, and then it comes back on. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's just Kevin.
Too much truth.
That's the agent that's been tasked to us as part of the Free Assange vigil, so he's probably on this stream. Wherever like Shadow and I show up on a stream together,
Freaks me out. I'm
Kevin's
like, what
listening.
I miss?
Kevin, blow that whistle, bud. Come to the light side.
Dude, I've been on the fucking list since I was a
Kevin and
fucking
Brian.
kid. I was a military brat. that never fucking fell in line my entire fucking life. This is who I am. This is who I have been. And I'm not fucking giving up. I will not fucking obey. I will fucking go down for this. I will not fucking just hand this over to the next generation. I cannot fucking do this. This has been handed to us, guys. This is it. This is it. We are fucking it.
I was just going to mention that. It was like people talk about 9/11, but they like to focus on the event where they don't focus on the collateral a lot all the times. On the loss of civil liberties, like my favorite song, Makeshift Patriot. But
this isn't how I was born. This is how I was made from the fucking conditions that we live under.
Yeah.
I really wanted to fucking be part of something that made the world a better fucking place, which is why I had become a fucking communist for a while. And then I was like, oh, wait. The psychosis is already starting in me, which means it can start in anyone else. And the second that the fucking reins are fucking pulled off, I can really become a fucking psychotic, genocidal fucking mess very fucking quickly.
Because the logic is always the ends justify whatever the means are that the central planners
And
agreed
so
upon. Because we all trust
what
the
I have
central
come
planners,
to the
guys.
conclusion of is the only way to make this world a better place is to stop thinking about this world in general and just start thinking about each other.
Right.
Not communism, each other. Just each other. There is no fucking classes. There is no fucking isms. There is no fucking nation states. There is no fucking nationalism. There is no fucking anything. It's all a spook. It was all fucking manufactured and put into your brain to make you a good little boy and girl.
Yep.
None of it fucking exists. The only fucking thing that exists is human interaction with each other.
Yes.
And what we can do with each other based on that human interaction.
Our mutual aid. And this is our mutual aid right here, having an open stream where we can come on here and show all of the world, all of our fucking crazy, and say, fuck you. We're not giving up. You don't have us. You don't fucking have us.
Yeah.
Everybody being honest about these things, basic things that we're all human. Let's treat each other with respect and, treat all things with respect. You know what I mean? If you go into a situation like that, it seems like, 9 times out of 10, the situation is going to go pretty well if you go into it with a mutual kind of fucking respect and, talk to people with dignity and fucking, intention. And it goes a long way.
Yes, I agree.
We just need to be honest and fucking God. I'm so like, oh my God. Why can't people just tell the fucking truth and be fucking authentic? Why is that so fucking hard? How is it so fucking hard?
Because you got to identify your flaws too. And if you identify your flaws, then you got to work on them. Like my flaw, I speak over people. Yona, floor's yours, man. Take it away.
Floor is yours, buddy.
Yeah, there was just something I was wanting to share to the conversation. From our perspective, the war on drugs really began with Rockefeller when he began to attack our natural medicinal healers that practice aromatherapy and homeopathy and naturopathy. And in fact, Rockefeller himself used a homeopath all of his life, despite establishing the medical boards across the different states and the American College of this and that and the other for the different medical specialties, and really organizing this hospitalized allopathic eugenic machine that's now killing on command with bribes from, CMS, that's the Medicare single payer system. For example, if hospitals give remdesivir to their patients or other things, there are clear financial incentives that are not improving patient outcomes. They're just improving profits. And this war on drugs really begins in the vilification of our natural healers and medicinal healers and our medicines themselves. So still today, most traditional Cherokee medicine, not just the hallucinogenic and psychedelic medicines like marijuana and mushrooms, but virtually all of our medicines are still not approved by the FDA, and Yona's fine with that, just like Shadow said, because we have thousands of years of trial and error of different cures that have proven to work, but their competition with pharmaceutical products that, they sell that you have to get through a pharmacy or through a prescription filled at a pharmacy, but then they have all these side effects and other things. And I'm not saying that, regular herbal remedies won't have side effects. It's just that we know in our pharmacopoeia, when we dig roots, when we make tinctures, we know what they're going to do because we have the data on what's effective and not from so many generations of practice of the use of those natural medicines.
I was just going to say that's what offends me about
new
eugenics.
medicines. We don't have safety data, and we don't have those years of experience to prove out whether or not it will work. And we've gotten to the point now, Jack, that they're giving medicines where they literally just mixed a new batch the other day, and then they're giving it to all the kids because it's got a new improved tris buffer that's going to cut down on the myocarditis cases, hopefully. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
That was infuriating.
That's all I had. That's what I want.
When I heard about that, I was like,
Dude,
that is how corporate America would try to solve a problem with health.
People need to realize that there is no fucking good guys.
No.
There's bad guys and there's more bad guys. We do not live in a world of good guys and bad guys.
No. You're absolutely right.
Bad guys.
More and more. It's just more
bad
and more
guys.
Find. Every one of them is a fucking snidely whiplash waiting around the corner to fucking bilk you out of your money or make you sick or something. It's fucking crazy.
But there's something that unites all of us here as a community. And I feel like
That's
it's
what I was
our
gonna say.
ability to recognize the
We're Burritonians.
value. We all see the intrinsic value in things, in experience. Intrinsic meaning that you can't put a dollar amount on how much you love this person. You can't put a dollar amount on your dog or your cat or your mother, or you can't put a dollar amount on intrinsic value, sentimental value. I mean, that there's something so much deeper than this commoditized version of reality that we're presented as the way the world works. And for us, the joy of traditional tribal living is to be able to go on fishing quest or to just go into the wilds and live off nothing but the earth itself. Because turns out, technically, you don't need money to live.
Turns out,
money itself.
That could be dangerous if you're trying to sell shit.
And in terms of conveyance and currency and everything else and fungibility, the construction of economy, to me, is related to your sovereignty. And if you don't have sovereignty in your economy, then you don't really have an economy. You just have a large plantation.
I was just going to say, that's why they say fiat. It's by decree.
Right. And so I think of, this huge plantation calls itself corporation today, but that's essentially what it is. It's an undying, immortal corporation that has powers that supersede the powers of living people. And so
we can back up everything you're saying with legislation.
This great battle of our time now is between humans and superhumans. And what we don't realize is what they think is superhuman is actually going to be less than human. Because Yona's going to bet that the ruling rich cabal, they're not going to have all these fucking shots and chips and shit and everything in them. They'll still be regular humans having all kinds of children, right? It's all the people they chip that will be less than human. And I would submit if they've already put patented designer laboratory genetic code into your own genes, the same way they did to the corn nation and the bean nation and all the other plant nations with their genetic modified biotech shit, GMO corn, for example. They've already won court cases, Shadow and Jack and Elle and Lucky and Steve. They've gone to court when they've had their GMO corn crop pollen blow into the wind onto a neighbor's field who was growing a heritage crop, right? That was not GMO.
Took it over.
But it was cross-pollinated by their patented GMO corn crop. They actually won the right to have all the neighbors' crops destroyed because they said it was patented product because it had some of their patented genetic material in it. They owned it, and the court ruled that they owned it. So by that court ruling alone, if you take some of BioNTech or Pfizer's gene editing software, and that phosphorescent luciferase is in your bloodstream, can't they go in court and legally argue that they own your fucking ass?
That's a great question that I think is not being asked.
That is a fucking precedent that's already been set.
Snort,
right?
What's
Snort,
up, brother
what's that,
Snort? I was talking about tobacco
Nice,
earlier,
Snort.
man. I remembered everything that you taught me about that.
Yeah, since the issue that was decades ago with the cross-pollination, it completely changed how they protected their modified corn, and they since then they use a shift in ploidality rather than something that's genetic. So the reason their corn is not breeding a second generation is that it is like a mule. So a horse has a different number of chromosomes than a donkey. So with the odd number of chromosomes that result, it cannot breed because it's not evenly ploidal. So most corn these days can't breed by pollen that blows in the air because of the odd ploidal. So corn no longer is grown year to year. It takes multiple years to grow a seed that is sold to farmers now. And that seed, like a mule, up until the 80s, I can remember farmers would keep a couple of years harvest at least, or a couple of years plantings at least, of corn in silos in the air, ready to go in case there was an emergency. And they were paid by the government to keep them.
Yeah, I remember.
But you cannot do this with the oddly ploidal corn.
Well,
and
it's strange. So many of the seeds now are terminator seeds. It's what I call them.
Well,
They're
no, it's
terminator
not.
seeds
I was just going to bring
because
that
they're
up.
not able to propagate.
It's oddly ploidal seeds. Terminator came because people didn't understand how they were preventing it from going. They were terminated the moment they were born. They were never going to be feasible to plant or feasible for a second generation because
I guess that makes our Indian corn strains, all of our heritage corn seeds that we keep, that makes them all the more valuable. The fact that we're able to plant it and keep using the seeds year after year from, I mean, that's how I have my corn, my Cherokee red corn.
The one I suggest is this one. This is from, I gotta find my camera, from a place called Seed Savers. So all of this is viable corn.
Oh, wow.
It's evenly ploidal. But this one only grows to be 4 feet tall. And I feel that this is the future of corn. And I'm hoping to get some planted this summer. And
well, I've got red and blue corn that goes about 6.5 feet tall.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
But it's an old. I mean, it doesn't taste like yellow corn. But I mean, we have all kinds of different kinds of corn that we kept seeds for. I'm sure you're aware, Snort.
Yeah, but these other ones, even the 6 foot, if we continue to have these climate changes, the areas where we grow corn now might not grow corn in 10 years. And
I might have to grow it in Ontario.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta wonder. You gotta wonder what the fucking genetically modified crop is doing to the fucking ecology around it, right? Because nothing grows in a vacuum, and what kind of fucking ecological fucking destruction is happening to the soil, to the water, to the fucking the wildlife around it, the bees, of course, right? Fucking nobody sees fucking bees anymore. So like, it's complete and total ecological destruction, right? And
well, now, am I mistaken, Snorky, that a lot of these are genetically modified crops so that they'll be more resilient to the application of the herbicides and pesticides that are sprayed on them? So in reality, GMOs invite more application of these chemicals, and you're going to see that in the runoff, and really more of an environmental impact from the glyphosates and dicambias and other things that are then getting into the aquifers and groundwater systems.
Yeah, they actually use the term Roundup Ready. So they pick species that are not going to be prone to it. Then they mix them with a species that will make them unable to have a second generation. And that's why it takes 3 years to grow corn now. So while
Isn't
we
the
have
Roundup
the
molecule
yields that look like we're still high, our yields are actually 1/3 of what we are, because most of our seed is not going back to making food. But I got off track there. The entomology, my wife was actually studying the effect of glyphosate on insects when she got her cancer, and and she had a lot of statements that she was worried that Monsanto would try to kill her for.
Jesus.
And
snort.
You know, my biggest concern in my garden has been with my pollinators, and you know how when they put the new smart meter, electric meter on the side of the house, which was right beside my garden, that affected the nearest 2 rows of corn, and the pollinators didn't want to get close to the brand new smart electric house meter. I guess because it was sending signal nonstop now because it's a smart meter on their grid.
The signals shouldn't matter, but it could mean that you have a problem with the grounding to your house. Because if you're not properly grounded, you're going to have more signal propagation.
Yeah, you need a proper ground.
I had a really quick question about Roundup when you get a sec.
Oh, sorry, I'm not the chemist. My wife was. My wife was.
It was just a basic chemistry thing.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, isn't just real quick, isn't like just so people know, isn't Roundup just a perverted, like a twisted version of the glycine, which is an amino acid? It's the essentially what they did is it's a sweet tasting substance, but you can take it's called L-glycine from what I recall, and it'll help you with like Roundup like stuff, because it essentially, if you can't get it in there, it's kind of like the effect with stuff like iodine, where if you don't have it in you, other stuff will get in those like different organs. I could be wrong on that though, but if I recall, like glyphosate is just they call it a certain term. It's like a malformed glycine module, or sorry, glycine molecule is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, the exact chemistry was beyond me, but I do know it did interrupt something in a chain like that.
But do you think all of this glyphosate? I mean, some argue for, some argue against. I think the body of evidence at this point definitely points to the use of these pesticides and the decline in, for example, what do they call it? Colony collapse disorder, with the beehives. I mean, I have some
100%.
apiary friends who keep hives, and it's been a serious. It's
Well,
an actual
it's
panic, really,
definitely
pollinators.
it's definitely not just the glyphosate though. It's also the radiation that we have in the air, because they're confused. That's what colony collapse is. It's not just a chemical confusion. It's a fucking like a radiant confusion. They can't fucking figure out like the vibrations.
These are very dependent on each other. So when you fuck, like, I'll just give you an example. Like, you know how like people say, well, it's the pheromones. It's a little, you got to give them a little bit more agency than that. Yeah, the pheromones play a key, but that's just their advanced signaling, like the dances they do and all that shit. But you fuck with one set of bees, that's because they work as a hive. They work as an entire, almost like an organism. You kind of think, if you've spent time around bees, you'll know what I'm saying. But when you get stung, it's usually because you fucked with them. You won't get stung because they're aggressive towards you. If you just walk up, and I'm not saying do this because people have allergies to bee stings, but I'm just saying, like, we used to be like animal husbandry, whatever you want to call it, doing that kind of like respecting the nature was a very important
living
part.
with.
Yeah, and when I was seeing like with bees, what you would see is what's called, just like you were talking about, it's called partial to full colony something cascades syndrome. It's got this whole fancy name, but all it means is essentially either a dispute happens with a queen, or it could be a non-queen issue, or the signaling gets fucked up on the receptors, which are very sensitive. They lose their togetherness is what I'll call it. You could call it solidarity, whatever you want, but their group
Wi-Fi.
ability gets fucked with. So they take off. Different parts go to different areas, and that's why they end up in houses and trees. Is because they're lost. Something's fucking with them, be it signals, chemicals. I always thought it was a mixture of both, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, beyond the bees, I've also noticed, like, I'm so old that I can remember having to clean the windshield every day from all of the exoskeletons from bugs. And here we are right on the bank of the Ohio River. There's a lot of river sloughs and backwater, you know, and yet, I mean, I still get bugs, but it's maybe once a week, every 2 weeks. I mean, something's going on, you know, and clearly if you look at the species die-off already, it would indicate that we're in an extinction level event. But in particular to the insect world, it's rather alarming.
Show us again.
Die-off.
You lose the bees, you lose everything.
Show us, Elle.
Is it the Queen of England?
Sorry, we have to see something real quick.
That is Samantha.
Oh.
Gamer
I like
drew
that
that?
color on the shirt.
Why is it so shitty?
It.
Oh, it's the lighting. The lighting sucks. Look, the blue eyes.
I can
It's
see
Samantha.
I
that
drew
Jin
this.
Saki?
The last thing I drew.
Is that Jin
That's
Saki?
the actual cartoon.
We'll circle back to that.
I drew this. Sorry.
Let Elle tell us. Let Elle tell us, Hurry, real quick.
I drew this at work when I used to work. That used to happen. I was bored and I drew something, and I drew this and I showed it to somebody next to me, and he was like, "Oh, that's pretty good," and I was like, "Yep." And so I kept it in my house, like on my table, on my coffee table with no coffee, and I called it Samantha for some reason. I don't know why, but I love Ankh necklaces, so I gave her an Ankh necklace.
Fuck yeah.
And then blue eyes, because I always wanted blue eyes again, because I was born with blue eyes, but then
I had blue eyes.
Well, you should put it like in a sleeve or get it framed or something, Elle, so that you can preserve it, at least laminate it or put it in a laminated
Definitely
sleeve.
be your avatar.
It looks better in person. But, yeah.
Can you
I wanted to
scan
give
that?
Gamer a look at it because we were chatting.
That'd be a fun bumper
before.
sticker.
I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just trying to show it to Gamer.
You had blue eyes too when you were like little, when you were born?
A little baby newborn. Yeah, we
I
all
had
have
blue eyes, and they changed when I turned like just about 3 years old. My eyes turned
and that's
from
because I have
blue
a
to hazel.
dad with blue eyes and a mother with hazel eyes, so I turned brown.
I have hazel eyes now, but I had blue eyes up until the time I was about almost between 2 and 3 years old. My eyes changed.
My brother
later.
had hazel, and my other brother had blue eyes, like my dad.
I wanted to learn more.
Sorry to
about
interrupt.
Sorry, yeah, I was like,
I was asking you, Stork.
I never found the right intro to that.
She's just like, here's a drawing. I'm like, wait, there's something happening. I see something happening on Elle's camera.
Sorry. I had to make it super awkward. Stork, I have a show called Super Awkward Funcast. Yeah.
Yes.
Super awkward.
Yeah, check it out, you guys. She's got courses on everything.
You're listening to the
Yeah.
Super Awkward Funcast. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I have
Anyway,
a theme
guys,
song that I created.
it's late for me, so I'm gonna hit the fucking. I'm gonna have to sign off and hit the sheets. But this was very very fucking therapeutic to come over here and be like.
We needed this.
Start screaming and shit.
We're not ending at all, but just
God damn
you know.
it was fucking catharsis. Yeah,
And you're
it's
gonna
nice to be.
Many blessings.
It's always nice to be on stream with you all. Snork is the first time I've been on stream with you. It's only a couple of minutes, but like I always appreciate what you got to say too, man. Jack, I love you to death. Elle, you're
Love you,
fucking fantastic with all your fucking drawings and your
Sorry.
singing over here.
It's a big deal because I'm disabled. Sorry. It's because my right hand is bad.
But
the drawing's great.
But I love your fucking drawing. I love the fucking
thank
injection of your fucking of your soul into this stream here. And Yona, I always love being on here with you, fucking, and we go through and hash out history and try to.
That's why we call it Rockefeller medicine.
I literally write a column called History Rhymes.
Dun, dun,
So
dun.
I'm all about that.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh,
Leo had to come say hi to Shadow Band before he left.
Leo. Hi.
Oh.
Oh, look at the smile. Oh.
He knows Shadow Band. He would like stare at the computer like when we would like all be on Discord and stuff, and he would be all excited, like, what is happening? Like they knew. He knows everybody's voice. Like when he meets certain people in like real life, he's I know he's gonna react like, hey, I know that voice. Like I know those people.
There's that guy that keeps on saying that one word over and over and over again. Yeah. Brought to you by the letter F. Lucky, thanks for having me on, and Stever, you have a good night, guys.
You too.
Good night.
We love you.
Bye, brother. Night, guys. Love you.
Yeah, you gotta come on again. More.
Oh, missed him. My wife did say that some farmers were not properly applying glyphosate, making it even worse, and that
overspraying's common because they don't have a common dosage, or I don't believe, like, essentially their guidelines are always going to be whatever sells more product.
Well, they needed, it was not Monsanto, it was the farmers. The crop, you sell more the more glyphosate you use.
Oh my God.
Originally they were supposed to leave 25% of their field not glyphosate. And I can't remember the reason that my wife said, and she said that she rarely sees it. She would go out in the fields and study the effect of glyphosate on the insects.
Yeah.
And then bring back the plants and study what happened to it.
Jeez.
So, I mean, Snorky, then you're aware of this very alarming reduction in the insect numbers. I mean,
oh yeah, well, I'm in Iowa, and I can drive 40 miles to work in the periods where it should be buggy, and not have to clean my windshield.
Wow.
But it's a new thing. It wasn't like that before. This is a new phenomenon that's happened in my lifetime and yours as well. I mean,
yeah, but the birds used to eat those bugs.
Yeah, birds used to eat them. Yep.
So we don't have the pheasants and things that used to eat it anymore. And there's quite a bit of knock-on. So we also used to have, because of the birds, distribution of plant seeds, not only distribution of plant seeds, but a different distribution of different nutrients from birds pooping in different places that we don't have because those birds aren't there because there's no insects anymore.
Jesus.
So all of this is beyond me because I don't have that good of an understanding of biology. But
well, sadly, people.
I mean, to my knowledge,
people are kind of unaware of the.
Oops, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say people are unaware of how the pigeons were hunted almost. Well, passenger pigeon, in fact, went extinct. But people hunting birds for game. The chicken is the main bird of choice now, but it didn't used to be.
Squab.
The same thing for deer and buffalo. I mean, the herds were just almost completely wiped out. And what we have today, most of the
deer's delicious, by the way. I don't give a fuck what anyone says.
Are made at consolidated animal feeding operations or factory farms. That's all I have.
You nailed it too. And a lot of that is like getting that shit out of my diet. I didn't realize how much that was poisoning me. Like if I eat processed food now, I'll break out in some shit. It's that
it makes me sick.
Shit.
It makes me sick.
Yeah, it makes me sick too.
Well, it's really like a chemical cuisine if you think about it, Jack. And
yeah, pink slime and whatnot.
Steve, I mean, it's not natural food. It's like a chemical alternative.
Hamburger buns at like fast food places have human hair in them. Okay. Yeah. It has human hair. Like
honestly, human hair is the most delicious sounding part of it. It's all the other bleaches and chemicals and emulsifiers and stuff that really
emulsifiers. That just saying emulsification,
mono and diglycerides are delicious.
Makes the mouth water. Could I have some lecithin with that, please?
Yeah, Klaus Schwab says, "Eat the bugs." What bugs? We're running out of bugs.
Yeah.
Well, we have more roaches though. and I know that the U.S. President, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., he knows about roaches.
President
He's a
Brandon,
roach
have some
expert.
respect.
No, he's not Brandon anymore. He's Robinette.
Let's Joe Rand.
Let's call him Robinette. That's way more unique.
Yeah, that's his middle name.
That's what I'm calling him from now on.
Now, see, everybody knows about Joe and Jill Biden, but not everybody talks about Douglas Emhoff. Talk about that poor guy is in the shadow of Kamala Harris, who was appointed to the
Zero delegates
vice
to.
president. He's lost every single election, every single primary, every single race she's ever ran for. She's lost, and she's gotten appointed.
That's
all
what
the way
makes
to
her a
one
winner.
place
Locked
for
up the
president.
parents of truant children.
But that's what makes her the winner, okay? We have to look at the numbers in the opposite way. The more that we give them a zero, the more the establishment gives them.
The problem is you're not imagineering enough, Yona. You're not imagining
Fail
it
your
hard
way
enough.
to the top, folks. Failure
Yeah,
is
we
an
have
option.
We have to look at their approval ratings in the opposite,
Yeah.
okay? When
We're gonna need
their
a panel
approval
test it
ratings
with
are
the most
tanked
generic
for
people we
us,
can
it
find.
means they're up for them.
Now, what's interesting is Kamala Harris's mother, Shyamala Gopalan, was actually doing research into breast cancer and other things. And her mother, Shyamala, who was doing the research, I believe, at the University of California, Berkeley campus. But anyhow, yeah, UC Berkeley. But Shyamala Gopalan, and then she met Douglas Harris from Jamaica when they were in Zambia, because her grandfather, her mother's father, P.J. Gopalan, ended up being an Indian government minister that was working back and forth with Zambia in Africa. But her Kamala Harris's family is part of the ruling Brahmin caste of India. Think like, Taj Mahal. Well, they belong to the Tamil. That's Tamil. Anyhow, it's really bizarre, again, to see this Horatio Alger rags to riches narrative trying to be applied to Kamala Gopalan, Taj Mahal, Brahmin caste Harris as supposedly a Yas queen of the K-Hive that all African American descendants of slavery can so easily identify with, when, I mean, that's a different caste in Italy. I'm sorry, in India. That is a different caste in India. And it's not the Brahmin caste, AADOS would not be Brahmin caste in India, for example. So it's a very strange and bizarre narrative being spun. But, I mean, you see this again and again with this rags to riches, like, again with Scranton Joe Biden, right? Or bartending Sandio from the Bronx, right? Who rebranded as Ocasio-Cortez, or Barry Soetoro, who grew up in Indonesia and finished high school in Hawaii, and he rebranded as, Barack Obama. I mean, it's all. I mean, after all, I think the Obama
now listen here, Yona.
won awards for their branding, right? The year of his 2008 campaign, they literally won awards for their advertising or their brand, or whatever. I mean, I don't mean to ramble. It's just really amazing how you keep seeing this, these politicians being given it like a different identity. It's like they're going through their own Operation Paperclip until they're a caricature of a puppet is presented to the public, and that's who you get to choose allegedly until the ES&S and Diebold secret tabulation software declares the winner, and there's no way to verify it because it's.
But if you vote hard enough, Yona.
I mean,
only vote hard enough.
I really don't know how you push the Pentagon left. I mean, if you vote hard enough, can you drag?
I mean, I don't even think we can push him anyway. So, like that direction.
Yeah.
Can we push him
I
off
want
of
us to say
something?
violence, you guys.
Can we push him off the end of the earth? I heard it's flat.
I mean, really,
I wanted
from
to
the
say
Cherokee
on that note.
perspective. Yeah, go ahead.
On that note, I just wanted to say thank you, Lucky, for inviting me to the show. It was a blast.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming.
And
Love
Elle
you,
will be
Elle.
on Sunday when we do our ladies stream. We'll probably be doing that probably after Sabby does hers, which will be really interesting. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of feedback for her on that.
Well, thank you so much, guys, and good to see you again, Yona, Jack, Shadowban before, and Snorky. I've never seen before, but he seems very smart. A little too smart.
Snork is brilliant. I
Snork
call him my
Y2K.
brain melter.
Snork, I've talked hours with.
I'm just
I didn't mean to call you
small
Snorky.
school teacher out in Iowa.
I call him Snork.
It's okay.
Snorky
You're more than that, Snorky.
He is. He's my brain melter. He melts
Don't
my
sell
brain
yourself short.
every time. I love it.
Either of you.
Yeah, the
don't do
corn
that.
thing. Wow. Like, I could never
didn't know
talk
any of
about
that.
corn that long.
Well, my wife had a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering and a master's degree in biology and plant physiology, and that was her goal, was to be a corn breeder. And actually, she wanted to be what was called now I can't even remember the term, but it was somebody that studies the numbers on DNA to how to describe changes in large groups of the species.
Skull measurers.
Something like that.
I mean, that a lot of there's some truth in the DNA stuff, I think, but or sorry, not the DNA stuff. What I'm trying to say is that the models that behavioral based models can be determined by your DNA is not fully true. And I recommend everyone check out Gabor Mate, who shows that some of these genes are actually expressed due to trauma. So trauma that occurs during childhood can change your DNA. Hence generational stress being a legit thing.
Yeah.
But again, like, I'm not saying, like, when I say skull measures, I don't think they're all eugenicists, because I think there are some people that get into it thinking they could like find and decode it. But I think if you don't account for certain elements, it's just going to be, it's going to be near impossible. Like, to decode a human, to say that we're this like code, yeah, DNA may contain DNA contains instructions for sure, and those instructions could be how we are put together just from the like different levels. But you got to also put in there like it's the environment as well, and a lot of that. Some of the eugenics movements, they put it into an angle of it's kind of like a death cult.
Yeah,
it's the easiest way I can explain it.
Well, on that note, I'm gonna leave.
It really is culty.
Yep, bye.
I love you. Enjoy your death.
Love you, Elle. Have a good night.
Love you.
My wife
Sleep
used to
well,
take-
everyone.
And
My wife
put
used to
the
take
put your
football,
show put in the just put in the chat so I can put it
Super
on the
awkward
screen,
funcast.
your all your information, so that
Okay.
or put it in private chat or whatever. I want to make sure that Steve puts it in there for you in the description.
Yeah, my wife for years would take pictures of kernels of corn, a specific pore in the kernel of corn that would turn black and get hard when corn hit a certain part of the breeding cycle.
Whoa.
And so she would study corn by that. And I made a wanted poster for her because I said, well, if kernels are just young corn and she's studying the pores, then she was a hardcore child cornographer.
That's right.
That's awesome.
That is
I saw it
actually
coming.
the
That's still good.
millennia.
The worst kind. So I want to ask you a question, Snore. We have
Circle back to that corn.
A traditional Cherokee process where we'll soak corn kernels in lime ash water, and like the Aztecs do the same thing. And there's like a I want to say the fancy term is like nixtamalization or something.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it. The only native process I'm familiar with is three sistering.
It's basically where you make. It's how you make grits. It allows the hard part to pop off, and then you have the big spongy grits, and then you can break it up, and that's something that you can feed to the babies or the elderlies, or But that's what we do it for. It breaks the skin off the kernel of the corn.
Yeah, and I'm not familiar with that. I do know.
Of course, the three sisters
around
that you
here,
mentioned, that's beans, corn, squash. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but around here, there's one tribe left that still practices three sistering, and that's where you plant corn, squash, and beans together. And the three help each other grow. They work in a very good symbiotic relationship.
According to our tradition, they were sisters that were sent to us by the corn mother. And I mean, that's how I grow my garden, because, you know, first you grow the corn, and that provides the vertical structure, right? And then you plant your runner beans, and they grow up the corn stalks and throw out the bean pods, and then you plant your squash, and the squash run along the ground, and they protect the roots of the corn.
Yeah, but it
and
was
all three work, and they also have a symbiotic relationship in terms of natural pest repellent. And again, they all attract different species, and it's an entire living community in terms of not only the plant life through its cycles of pollination and then maturation, but also in the life cycles of so many other insect species that depend on that. You know. Again, I think of each garden as an entire community of life across so many different living species, not just the food that you're growing, you know. And you have to.
That's why monoculture is death.
Yeah.
You've got, like, maybe it can work in some areas, like in desert environments. There may be some plants that are suited, you can argue, but I would say that, like, keeping a mixed environment. Also, animals. Like, animals you can get compost from. Like, natural things. Like, remember, Yona, when we talked about dandelions? Like, I was being serious. If you guys, like, that can help with, like, all kinds of stuff. Like, I'm not, like, trying to promote it, but you look into it, do the research yourself. Like with all things, there's no, like, magical panacea. It's just a lot of the natural stuff. It's not even saying it's better than certain things. It depends on what you need it for. Like, you break your leg, I think Western medicine is great because it's field surgery medicine. It's Rockefeller medicine, right? It's meant to patch you up real quick and get you the fuck out, charge you the most possible.
Have you ever eaten dandelion green, Jack? Or
yeah,
have you ever
they're delicious.
Yeah.
Salads.
What about pokeberry?
It sounds familiar. What is it, like a tart? Is it more tart or is it sweet?
Well, the pokeberry plant, when it's an adult, has a very purple or almost reddish looking stalk. It gets very
it looks kind of like a blueberry.
Blueberry things that will stain your clothes and your skin when they burst. And if you get the very young, tender leaf shoots, I mean, those are delicious, drizzled with hot bacon grease. I mean, that's
dude, that sounds good, man.
Well, or traditionally it would be drizzled with hot deer fat, but
epigenetics.
Fat,
thanks, Ricky.
Greens, that's a traditional Cherokee.
That's all I was trying to say, is that we need to look at more of, like, things, like, look at the systems approach. Like, look at what Gabor Mate says about genetics, because, like, a lot of the stuff I see with the eugenics movement is just Malthus regurgitated. It's just Malthus in a new form. It's this whole scarcity mindset, because I'm not saying we're not screwing over the planet. It's just that the companies doing the pollution are never called out. The companies doing all these things to the insects and animals in our environments and our, like, natural biomes, are, like, internal and exterior are all connected. They're not doing anything about that.
And who gives them fucking permission to do all this shit and destroy everything for everybody else? Because they have a
that's why I'm against the Davos agenda,
like, you know,
shit like that. 100%.
Like,
well, in terms of a carbon footprint, war is the biggest carbon footprint. You know,
I was just gonna say,
and their carbon footprint is the biggest contributor to greenhouse gas emissions every single year. Now, I'm not going to venture into the chemistry and arguments regarding carbon dioxide and all of that, but for me, the evidence is in the news. The terrible news I keep getting from my friends in the Yupik Nation and other Inupiaq tribes that are up on the north shore of Alaska on the Arctic. And I mean, with the thawing permafrost and the bubbling methane clathrates coming to the surface and the ever shrinking floating polar ice cap in the north, I mean, you know, when you keep looking at the receding ice pack at the North Pole. We're very. I mean, I have to wonder how many years before we actually have a blue ocean event in the Arctic, and we're already seeing this disrupt the what's called the polar vortex, where you normally have kind of a tight circular jet stream that tightly wraps around, roughly the shape of the Arctic Circle. Now it's got such wild perturbations, and it's kind of more like drawing, like when you used to draw a pencil around your hand onto a piece of paper, and that's kind of like what the jet streams look like here for several weeks now. Where, like for example, where I'm at here in Huntington, West Virginia, 70 one day, 30 the next, 70 the next day, 30 the next, you rain one day,
too?
snow the next.
I was just gonna say, like, that's what we all need to look at, is just like use your eyes. Like, look outside. You can see that the patterns are changing in a very bad way. When we get snow that comes down to Texas,
how it connects to us, Jack, and you can see it right where you live.
100%.
Yeah.
There were some climatologists predicting that we would have a trans-equatorial vortex within 10 years.
Jack.
Uh-huh. And how do you think that's going to affect our AMOC, these mid-oceanic currents and the Gulf Stream and all that, Snore? What's your opinion on that?
If it hits east or west of Ecuador, yeah, very serious.
I mean, we're already seeing
what would
a
cause
slowdown in that thermal banding with the AMOC. I mean, they've already seen a dramatic decrease in the velocity of the moving of that heat up north, which is critical to, I mean, without that, Northern Europe, I would think would just freeze. Isn't that where they get a lot of their heat?
Oh, I got you. We're talking about the jet streams.
The Gulf Stream, and then the AMOC, the Mid-Atlantic Ocean current. And
again, I just there's some flights where you'll get, like, you can track them. You'll see that they land sooner, and that's due to tailwinds, headwinds, right?
Right.
So I mean, like people that debate me on whether or not like these like streams exist, and then they want to get into like whether or not, I don't know if the Earth is whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I only know my perception, what I know to be true. Like, I've got tons of like engineering things that I've been taught on the curvature and things like that, but I don't need to explain it like that. It's like whatever someone believes doesn't bother me. But at the same time, it's interesting because if we just looked outside, what you just said, Yona, was critical. You shouldn't see the temperature go to frost levels, especially during harvest seasons or during seasons where you're planting or sowing, right? Whatever you're doing, if you're tilling, whatever you're doing in the field, if it does this, it hurts the ground and soil quality. Like, I didn't even think of that aspect. That's all I need to, like, if someone asks me, like, how do you feel about climate change? I'm like, I would really care more about like what the fuck's going on with pollution and the people doing that kind of shit.
Again, you said something about engineering, Jack, because there is something that has been aggravating me for quite some time, and I hear it discussed more. And now I've actually ran into people on Discord and others
is it of the
embracing the theory of flat Earth. And I mean, as a civil engineer and a land surveyor, having to actually perform calculations on long open traverse to accommodate for Earth curvature.
Thank you. What's the number?
Is this even a thing, or is it a psyop with this whole flat Earth thing? Because I mainly see it now as an epithet or just a vilification of a person as being a flat earther, as like part
it's
of
another identity. I think you've kind of nailed it. It's kind of like Q as well. It's a narrative that's comfortable for someone because they think they have something they know, which you'll see, like, if anyone's arrogant about their thoughts, because I've been guilty of this in the past myself, that's when I get worried, because then I'm too sure of myself. So I just assume I don't know something, and that maybe I can give some background on it, but I'm not an expert on anything. Because all this stuff is systemic, so you really need people that know all the different aspects of this to really figure out what's going on. But just the cycle changes alone, like, I've noticed that, like, it's changed everything on stuff that I can grow indoors, even because there's just areas that I can't grow in anymore. Like, it's that bad. The cycle changes are too frequent and they're too rapid. And who knows? Like, maybe this shit's been going on for years. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, the good documentary is what is that? Planet of the Humans. which shows the greenwashing industry and for how dirty it is. And I think it's important to counterbalance that with the don't assume the climate change movement is just this small group that's Extinction Rebellion and their 801c3 dark money groups or C4s, whatever the hell they are. They're not a C3, that'd be a non-for-profit. Sorry, guys. I think they're a C4 or C5. If anyone knows, correct me.
Mishka.
But like,
well, one thing that's
really
particularly disconcerting is how the eugenics movement has rebranded itself as an environmental
Welcome Sanger
movement.
Institute.
And you know, Francis Galt,
you're right,
and these others that even like Eco Health Alliance and Peter Daszak, which were involved with the gain of function.
And then the Galton Institute.
When it comes to corporate branding and eugenic branding, it's all the whole that I was just speaking to your point about greenwashing, and that they rebranded eugenics as we have to do this in consideration of the environment and of other species, and that's, you know, because humanity is a parasitic. Because humanity is a parasitic plague and a cancer upon Earth, we really need to kill as many humans as we can because it's for the plants and the animals, you see, because we care.
Well, and it's like
that's the argument that's put forth. It's ridiculous.
Oh, Ricky,
it is
look
all
what
the
Ricky
time.
said. Look what Ricky said. He said it's a dome. It's both round and flat. What the fuck?
I'm gonna be honest. Like, so the measurements you're talking about, I was trying to figure out the other day because I remember when we would do point-to-point wireless, right? We would be aiming these big wireless dishes at each other. We would have to do alignment. You couldn't do alignment after a certain mileage because of the curvature of the Earth, is what we were told. I believe it, but again, like this is what I'm saying. I don't know until I've flown high enough to where I've seen things, but I can't tell you with what I've seen. That's anecdotal. So I think everyone just make up their mind for themselves. But at the same time, like, really think when your beliefs start becoming a cult. That's when I think we should all be worried.
Yeah. I leveled my instruments perfectly using a laser EDM theodolite total station transit. Okay.
Okay.
And I ran an open traverse over 6.5 miles long to tie into 3 different section corners on a range in town because I was in public land system, right? And you know, I had perfect horizontal and vertical closure. And then when I went back and occupied the nails with my static GPS receivers, I then had a second closure and confirmed, yes,
I was just going to bring that
up.
up.
I ran the line perfectly horizontal, there was nearly 1.5 inches difference in both data sets because I had gone so far on my open traverse that I was able to actually measure the curvature of the freaking Earth. Myself,
I was just going to say,
I've seen it with my own eyes.
I was going to say, like, when all this stuff was going down, someone was trying to get into a flat earth argument. And I was like, I need a land surveyor. Like, that's, of all the people, that's someone I need, like, right now, because those kind of measurements, like, you do long enough surveys, you're going to hit into that.
Yeah.
Like, with my engineering, like, I only ever got, like, minor. I knew when we ran fiber, for example, those were usually, you would run to the limits that you could repeat the fiber signal. Now they've got armored, like, much better armor fiber, much better ways to counter the interference. Different. I'm not going to go into different nanometer widths and shit like that. That's kind of boring. But
that
again, like,
my brain.
Yeah. I love the cheesier we can do a joke, the better. Like, I love really cheesy dad jokes.
When I get that
He loves dad jokes and he's adorable at them. I have to say, Mr. Jack Seth, because Sith
something important.
We're making that a shirt. Like, it's a brand now, so you're stuck with it. Like, I love it because, you know,
Which one?
I gotta give you guys. Jack is one of the original people, and so is Snork. Whoop, I gotta point that way. Snork and Jack, you guys and Shadowban are some of the original guys that got me started and why this channel exists. It's because, you know, the late night conversations that we would all have and the fact that we were able to mutually come together and share information, and it was just such an intense thing, and that it evolved to this. So those two right there, part of like what really sparked us to do this. I was just like, we need this space. And this is why we need it. Now look at now Yona, you need a land surveyor, and look at that. It's amazing because we have so many people in our community.
Well,
so
I'm
much
glad you
fucking
share your
shit.
knowledge, man. I appreciate that, because like I never want to ask someone about their you know what I'm saying, like bringing their work into stuff, but I do it all the time, so I've got to be a hypocrite. I think we all are. We just need to get it. Be okay with that.
753. I have my professional stamp and emboss and seal and everything to put on maps and deeds and stuff.
Damn, man, nice. Yeah, because I was like going through my head and I was like, what was the formula? And I was like, it's like this degree curvature you need to account for. It's like it's a 3 number. I remember that. It's either 13 or 3% or 0.3, maybe 0.03%. I forget the exact amount, but there's a cofactor at this length distance. You need to figure in this vector. I'm trying to remember it off my brain, but again, you've seen it, Yona. So
this is a
that GPS itself.
Prime example why we need this channel here. This is it.
I just want to take a moment. I'm burning some of my
decultifying people.
I'm burning some of my sacred stash of blessed sage that I have from my chief here, because it's something I feel
could they load that in crop
in
dusters
respect to the spirit of Snorky and his dearly departed, who he shared information about with her research and everything. And I feel like her memory lives on just in our discussion here of the academic work and the great interest that she took in the Corn Nation, which is so near and dear to the heart of the Cherokee, because we are a corn people. So, I mean, you know, I just wanted to show as much respect and compassion as I could to Snort for sharing that with all of us.
You're a good dude, Snort.
I am not even as much Native American as Liz Warren. But my grandmother.
Yes, I got into Liz Warren joke earlier.
Reservation in Nebraska. Because the way they funded the Indian reservations west of the Missouri River was they would give them half of their land back. And then they would sell the other half to immigrants coming in from Scandinavia. And
they play on racial tensions, I bet, too.
That's part of the Dawes Allotment Act of 1890, what he's talking about, where they did the Allotment Act, and then when they split lots like that. Because they went into the reservation land and they did the Dawes Allotment Act, and then that way
they couldn't even get 50 acres in a fucking mule.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just adding the name of the legislation and the historical context of the bill that passed in the federal Capitol Hill that then allowed them to do that. Go ahead. Sorry.
What was the name of that bill again?
I learned a lot of native things.
That's the Dawes Allotment Act. I'll put it in the note here. DAWES. Dawes Allotment Act 1890.
Even though my grandmother wasn't an Indian, when we go visit my great grandfather's farm, it was actually on the reservation, the original reservation. Although she was on outside the part that they, the tribe had, but we would go into town and we would be basically at the reservation, and she would say that people didn't treat them right, that make sure they're always fed. And he said that a lot of them, even though they were sitting there in Nebraska, did not get enough to eat. And so that was one of the things that should make sure nobody ever goes hungry. And so I've volunteered for even stuff in other countries to what can they do to get some food.
It's a shame how many people are going hungry in the United States every day, considering practically half of all the food in this country every day is thrown away, many of it into dumpsters under lock and key. But I mean, I guess that's how capitalism works. I don't know what to say to that, really.
It's a soul rendering process. I don't know what to call him, but he's a very prophetic person in my mind. This is Alex McKay. He's done shows with Max Blumenthal, and you can catch his Red Star Radio. It's a great, if you actually want to hear a Marxist talk that is not condescending and is actually debunking other DSA, State Department socialists on a daily basis, it's pretty fucking hilarious because they're pro freedom protest, everything going on in Canada right now. They're very much giving an analysis that I think is missing because it's an actual like it requires putting things in the historical dialectic or putting things in the historical context like we're doing here because like Yona is able to pepper in these critical things like Dawes. I did not know that was the name of the act. I was racking my brain trying to remember what that was called because I remember if you remember 50 Acres and a Mule, they didn't even hold to that shit.
Right.
Well, it was 50 acres in a mule.
Excuse me.
That could be a whole other
40
story.
acres in a mule.
Yeah, I was going to say
40 acres is a quarter of a quarter
I added
section.
10. I was adding 10.
I'll tell you how you get to that. The public land system, okay, all the western states were surveyed off using the public land system into townships. And you have each section is a square mile. A square mile is 640 acres. If you break a section into quarter sections, that's 160, 160, 160, 160. If you break a quarter section, that's 160 divided by 4. That's 40 acres. So you would get 40 acres in a mule promised to you, which is a quarter section, or a quarter, 1/16 of a square mile. Okay, there you go.
Oh,
yeah. Well, originally they actually gave some. Most of them were poorly informed, so they didn't know the offer was there. In fact, I believe the entire state of Texas or one state.
I was going to say, weren't most of those sharecropping
slaves that they'd been freed. And
that was Texas, Juneteenth.
Then the ones that did get land got what was called bottom land. Usually stuff that flooded out at least once every 3 years. But the ones who got the land actually thrived quite well on it, to the point where the other farmers got jealous and it was basically taken away. But back to the Great Circle navigation, or flat Earth. The process of navigating for aircraft a long distance is called Great Circle navigation, and a similar process is done with ships, and it accounts for the curvature of the Earth. So if you pull up Google Maps and you want to see the curvature of the Earth, plot a trip from O'Hare International Airport to Billund, Denmark. France will work. Paris would work. Well, I just gave a flight that I've actually known. And when you do that and say, give me directions, it'll give you the option of you want to drive a car, take a train, take a bus, walk, take a bicycle, or take a plane. If you click on the plane, it will switch to Great Circle navigation. And you will immediately see that a straight line on the map between O'Hare and Billund, Denmark, or wherever you choose over there in Europe, is not going to be straight.
I was going to say, like, how hard would it be, like, Yona, maybe you can speak to this. I've always wanted to do, like, I think the best way to get to the bottom of, like, a dispute, like, on whether the Earth is round or not, give me a fucking say that, but the way to get the bottom of that, and again, not judging someone, just if they believe that, sure, like, again, the belief doesn't bother me. Like, someone believing that, like, honestly, with the amount of shit that we don't know, who knows? Maybe yours is different than mine. But what I'm getting at is that we should be able to prove that it's the nature of it just based on basic land surveys. GPS in and of itself, I think, proves it. I know it's triangulation. There's a counter argument that the geostationary satellites are actually moving and all this other complicated ass shit. But if you can't break it down to a person and under a sentence, it's kind of hard. So what I was getting at is that the easiest way to like help people with the evidence part of that, I've always thought, like, you hit it on multiple fronts. You get civil engineers, people that have done land surveying, you get them to do one aspect of it and just show a study, like, not even necessarily proven one thing or another. Show what your calculations that you need in order to do your job are, because they're pertinent to the argument at hand. And if you just show that, let people think what they want.
The easiest way to shoot down a flat Earth argument is to ask them to explain light refraction during sunrise and sunset.
Yeah.
Explain to me why the sun and the sky are changing colors at sunrise and sunset if there's no curvature, and if that light is not being bent and revealing different colors in the spectrum. What's causing that then, since it's not the curvature of the Earth and the atmosphere? explain to me then, flat earther.
Well, and I always wondered, like, that's a great question. Also, like, why not just load up a weather balloon and strap a camera to that thing, show a picture? You can get a low Earth orbit. And in fact, I can't find these videos, but you guys remember those people were doing the experimental ones where they would literally just upload their, like, earlier YouTube before this, the heavy free speech advocacy that they've been doing so well that they gave themselves an award for. That's hard to say. Not vomit.
I got to run a diaper in the other room. We'll be right back.
Oh, you're all good.
Just
I forgot what I was even saying. Yeah. I think so the videos were they would show a guy going up in a spacesuit, and essentially, like, you could see, again, people argue it's fisheye lens. That's a fair argument, but again, if you're going to capture that shot, it's full ass spread. But, like, this is where it gets to the point. It's where you're showing your evidence against someone, where at the same time, it's like, I think the whole debate itself is kind of a non sequitur, you know?
Yeah.
But at some point, you have to just say, is it worth having this discussion?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I was like,
there should ultimately be more videos of dudes in spacesuits going up really high with cameras.
And again, you add around the fuckery around the moon landing shit, and it's just like, you can argue that one all kinds of ways. And at the same time, it's like, you look at NASA being funded by Operation Paperclip and the Nazi scientists that they literally had. Was it von Braun?
Werner von Braun was the former head of the NASA, and he's also the guy that was sending V2 rockets over from Panamunda to.
Raise your hand if you were taught about Operation Paperclip in school, or Mockingbird, or Northwoods, or Sea Spray, or I could literally MK Ultra. I could list them all out. Gladios, yeah, where they would stay behind quote unquote leftist units. Again, this is why these terms will come back to haunt us.
I was really hoping to be able to raise my hand for something, and that was really anticlimactic. I was like, "Ooh, I was ready."
Let me redo it. All right, we're gonna redo it. All right. If you were taught about Operation Paperclip and the Nazi scientists that were brought over in the extensive research by Annie Jacobson, raise your hand. If you were not. Oh, we got a person. That's everyone. Yeah, it was a funny joke. See, even if we did it right, it wasn't going to be funny. That's on me, though, not you.
I mean, I pledged to a flag for a while. I mean, I pledged allegiance to a flag, not a fucking country.
I remember when I stopped doing that.
Neighbor.
Yeah.
I pledged allegiance to a fucking goddamn flag. What the fuck?
I did some wild shit nowadays, but when I stopped pledging, that's when all of a sudden the whole system had to come down. That's when everything had to come down.
Pledge of Allegiance, when you did your Pledge of Allegiance to the U.S. flag, did you do the Bellamy salute part?
No.
No, we
the Bellamy salute was done during the U.S. Pledge of Allegiance until around 1941.
Yeah,
so
did you guys know that?
Years, all the school kids were doing the Hitler salute halfway through the Pledge of Allegiance. I mean, there's countless pictures of American classrooms,
all of a
kids,
sudden in World War II.
Hitler saluting the flag during the Pledge of Allegiance. And I had always thought they were just singing the third stanza to the Star Spangled Banner, the part where no refuge can save the hiring or slave from the terror of flight or the doom of the grave, Yeah, that's the national anthem, folks.
Americana style.
Yeah, we're gonna catch you.
I mean, then you'd have to go into Washington and like Sally Hemings and you'd have to crush all these founding fathers. Like, what's that great line by Immortal Technique? Condoleezza Rice is just a new age Sally Hemings. Jesus.
It's funny you would say that, Jack. It turns out Lucky and the Yona here have a regular thing going on where Yona ruins American presidents for you. It's not like Adam ruins everything.
Hey, I like this game.
And Adam has his own thing. This is just Yona shits on your president.
Give him a quick recap while I go. I gotta pee. Go give him a quick recap of our presidents as I scoot.
Well, Washington, you covered the slave teeth.
We shit on George Washington and his mouth full of.
Tell him about his teeth.
Child slave teeth.
Did you get a what's his face? The one that everyone's glorifying for some reason begins with an H. You guys know what I'm talking about. Hamilton. Have you done Hamilton yet?
Alexander Hamilton and his slave owning
I mean,
family
Alexander
went
Jackson would be
down
too
in the
easy.
Virgin hand. Who? You're talking about Alexander
Jackson would be
Hamilton?
too easy to do. Oh yeah, have you done Hamilton?
I'm not taken down Hamilton yet. I've just been focusing on United States presidents. Although Hamilton is on the $10 bill. And
yeah, I was thinking currency.
During the Whiskey Tax Rebellion, George Washington led the Continental Army from Richmond, Virginia, with Virginia governor at the time, Life Horse Harry Lee, and Alexander Hamilton. But when they got all the way to Cumberland, Maryland, Washington got cold feet because every town they went to draft people, townspeople had fled. And so Alexander Hamilton took over command of the Continental Army to go chase the whiskey tax rebels. After all, it was Alexander Hamilton who pushed through the whiskey tax because the Appalachian settlers were so poor they didn't even have money that could be pilfered from them by the tax collectors. So they started pilfering what they were using to trade with, and that was their distilled spirits, whether it was whiskey or moonshine. And so as a result, Jack Daniels, Elijah Craig, Jim Beam, and others fled from around Pittsburgh down into Kentucky and Tennessee and other places.
And don't forget the pharmacy allowance they had. They could make medical grade bourbons and whiskeys, which is how essentially the elites got to have their real drink, while essentially I would argue they were giving out methanol in methanol tainted batches to give them enforcement activities.
But, you know, really,
what's better than drinking?
Until there is the freedom to practice your own medicine, what good is Medicare for all?
That's what I'm saying. If you have Rockefeller medicine, what good?
You're only going to be subjected to whatever wild protocol they may deem as necessary, even if it's not backed up by science, even if it's proven bad science. If they're, you know, because of the fiduciary interests and just the outright corruption, you know, we're just getting more and more technological versions of sick care, of private health insurance sick care.
Because there's no money in fixing the actual source of a lot of this stuff, which is usually diet, usually lack of exercise. I'm not trying to generalize, even though it's a general statement.
Well, that's very key to medicine. I mean, after all, the father of medicine and the namesake for the oath itself, Hippocrates, said, "Let food be thy medicine, and let medicine be thy food." They're one and the same, and it's always puzzling to me the fact that I've never sat down with any primary care physician, doctor, family doctor at any time that's ever asked me what I eat or what I drink, what's in my diet.
I was going to say, it took me getting a doctor that had to be recertified when they came over from a war zone to be able to like actually fix what was going on with me, because it was my diet.
Yeah.
Once they did that, everything else, kind of all the other side problems that Big Pharma is making money off of me from, just went away all of a sudden, because they figured out, hey, maybe don't eat all this processed food and just try to like not kill yourself before you're a certain age.
You know what it is too, though, in the United States, people, it's not that they're not like the people are malnourished. It's, you're not just like, your body is expanding and doing what it's doing and holding all that.
Correct.
Storing
Food
all that.
deserts too.
We are malnourished. We are not eating actual food. We're eating things that fill our bellies that maybe, you know, like they make the hunger pains go away, but it's not real food. If you're not eating real food, then that is what's happening too. And so, I mean, like, we need a big detox. We just need a fucking huge detox of everything. And we're never going to get rid of all the glyphosate, the Roundup, that shit's everywhere. That shit killed my dad.
Oh, yeah.
It killed my dad. He had cancer 4 times, and it took him. And this last January, it marked the year since he died.
They were spraying that overhead when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That, and I don't remember if they were still using DDT. I'd argue that they were probably using some back stock that they had.
Oh, I mean, it's just everywhere though. Like it's just here. You know what I mean? Like it's just here.
When you can taste
And
it, that's when you know they're using too much.
my
Well, it's
theory,
incredible. Down
my
in Florida,
theory
they still
is,
spray the skies for mosquitoes.
my
All the time,
theory
every
is,
year.
is that Mars
Jesus.
is the old planet, that we lived on. Steve, you're sending me something.
Could
What the
be.
hell?
Consult
You know what
the
I mean?
space marmot.
Mars is like, that's what it, that's probably what Earth was, and that's what this will be again. I'm sure that.
And then
like,
someone went fucking with the atmosphere like Gates wants to do, and then it was a billionaire that probably fucked it up, and then brought everyone over here, said everyone forget the history, and then they started all over again.
Think about it. Our DNA. That's why I think we're gonna find that as they find out more about different cultures and things like that, they're gonna be like, time isn't linear in the way that we think it is. How the hell did this happen? And why do these time frames not match up? Because I think that it is. I think that we've done this before. We've gone from one planet to the other planet. I think that's
the
already
end of
happened.
the Battlestar Galactica got it right. Remember, Lucky, or I don't know if you guys have seen it, but the end of Battlestar Galactica, they essentially, the travelers, the place they call Earth was just a planet they found with already people living on it that they ended up mating with, that turned into a hybrid species we call humanity, that then built the same robots that they wore, that they were escaping from.
Same thing.
Wow.
And they like hit a dead ass on like right on the head. A little too real.
Okay, think about it. Mushrooms are not from this planet, right?
Well, the spiritual aspects of that show are never discussed because it's very spiritual.
Our DNA is closest to mushrooms. Mushrooms are not from this planet. Can we please?
Yeah, it's kind of
take
cool how they
a
think.
second
They're
to
like
think
big
about
organism.
that. Our DNA is closest to mushrooms. Mushrooms heal us. Mushrooms, like, people don't realize, like, mushrooms, like, I'm taking lion's mane, like organic lion's mane capsules every day, besides the fact that I eat mushrooms on a regular basis anyway.
Another one is chaga. It's they used to use it in as a coffee substitute, but that one's really good for you.
Yeah, I have a big chunk of chaga that somebody gave us, actually.
Ooh, nice.
We call these sacred medicines in the medicine world because they were given to us by the gods. I mean, as a gift after we were here. So, I mean, if it's something that we're given after we're already here, then where did it come from? Well, it wasn't here before, so it came from somewhere else.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and it heals us, and our DNA is closest to it. The things that like that's amazing in itself. That I can take something like mushrooms. And I'm not.
I was going to say, for energy, use reishi.
Psychedelic ones. I'm talking about just organic lion's mane mushrooms in a capsule, because this COVID shit has got my brain in such a fog. I have to take that every day now to try to like repair it. Like I am. And mushrooms, you have to remember too that mushrooms also can take radioactivity, and it can reverse it. There's all these things that we have. Sunflowers do the same thing.
Actually, the mushrooms
mycelium,
don't reverse the radioactivity. They sequester it.
I was gonna say, like, birch bark is so trees that grow chaga. What they grow on birchwood. Birchwood has antiseptic properties, but it's a concentration of, I believe it's the melanated elements of the mushroom, and essentially the tea that you make is of the flowering plants, different polysaccharides, those chains. But it's crucial, because you're right. It's not that you're getting the birch from the fact that it grows in the birch bark. It's pulling out like the micro pseudocools and nutrients that are likely healing, like have healing anti-inflammatory properties. They get absorbed into the polysaccharides, essentially the mushroom stuff in the caps, like you would assume with like how they extract it from mushrooms. It's the process. They boil and they do like an alcohol extract.
Yeah, I have a huge chunk
It's really cool.
of chaga. We can go in our woods and look for it. It's not found very common, but it is in this area. It is in we're in Connecticut, and in this area we can find chaga on a tree. And that's the kind of mutual aid things that I want to do on this channel, Jack, because remember that's what we were talking about before.
Ooh, yeah.
Is teaching people how to do stuff.
If I could get some mushrooms from Fukushima Prefecture of Japan, it probably wouldn't be a good idea to eat those then.
I mean, you would probably go to a different dimension, but not the one that you think.
Let me
I'll end up
describe
on
what's
the
happening.
inside of that collider.
There'll be some three-eyed, like all kinds of shit. I don't know if I'd go to that one.
Oh,
All right,
maybe I'll
probably
grow a
avoid it.
third eye. Hey,
Let me describe it another way. It doesn't really remove the radiation.
Okay, what does it
what
do?
it does is it puts it into a part. I believe it puts it into the riblets, but I'm not sure. I'd have to go back, but it's been a while. So let me describe
I think
it with
that's how they
another.
breathe or respirate, whatever it's called, however they absorb air,
Let me switch
whatever
to
carbon
something else
dioxide.
that I'm more comfortable with.
Oh, cool.
There was a river that had heavy metals. You think of the radioactive radionuclides, many of them work just like heavy metals. So there was this river that had a bunch of clothing related chemicals like dyes and coloring. A lot of things that make colors have really nasty byproducts that get dumped in the river in Asia. And so the people downstream were getting very sick. And I went on to a volunteered on a project to help clean up the river. We were looking for the least expensive way because these people lived on pennies per day. And this biologist researcher said, let's use mung beans. And first of all, to get them to do the extra work, it was hard to get them to believe that there was a chemical, because there's always been water in the river. They said, well, since it's always been there, it has to be clean. And in order to give them an incentive to grow the mung beans to remove the metal, the roots of the mung beans sequestered all of the heavy metals. And the top part was still clean enough to eat. And because the chemicals were sequestered in the roots, within 2 hours for like 100 gallons of water, I can't remember how many mung bean seeds they threw in it, within 2 hours of sprouting, 80% of the heavy metals were gone in this amount of water. And it was, like I said, they still needed to cut the roots off. They needed to not throw the roots back. They needed to not eat the roots, but they got this nice protein that they were able to eat, out of it. And with mushrooms, it's only a portion of the mushroom that the radiation goes to. One of the problems after Fukushima, and it's properly called Fukushima, is that apples, the blossoms just love to suck in the radioactive cesium. So then that cesium would then be right into where the seeds, or right into where the
it affect germination and genes, right?
Well, it sequestered it basically in the apple then. And so, apples for that year were really not something you wanted to eat. And where did most of that come ashore? Well, it came ashore in the state where we grow so many apples. But I'm hearing now that the amount they actually got might not have been as bad as we thought it was. But, if you were in Japan, you would have had large doses in different plants. And different plants would have taken it different ways. And a plant that's in the ground sometimes is different than a plant that's in water. And I'm not an expert on all of that. So
you see, my first babysitter when I was growing up was my Aunt Fumi Sawaji Probus, who married my mom's older brother. And she was from Niigata Prefecture of Japan. And that's how I began to learn Japanese before I went to kindergarten. And so, you'll hear it called by English speakers Fukushima all the time, but in fact, there's not really a hard F sound in actual, Nihongo. In Nihongo, it would be Fukushima. Fukushima Daiichi is the name of the plant that was attacked, but Americans would say Fukushima, right?
Yeah, the Japanese say the she part really fast.
Yeah,
and they actually they call it whispering it, but it's not silent. It's just very, very fast.
Yeah,
and I worked for a few years for a company called Matsushita, and they owned Panasonic, Quasar, MGM, Sharp, and I can't even think how many different companies they owned.
Matsushita or
Yeah.
Matsushita. Yeah.
Matsushita.
Yeah.
Matsushita.
Yeah.
And
because there's
whenever
the
everybody
formal
thought
pronunciation,
it always
there's the
sounded like they were
formal
mumbling it.
pronunciation, and then the informal pronunciation when it comes to Japanese. Same as English. How are you doing versus how are you? You know.
Yeah.
But what's amazing to me is there's also these hot spots that are further away from the Daiichi plant because of the venting from, like, for example, you had a number of full core meltdowns there, and some dramatic footage of the hydrogen explosion and throwing the roof into the sky, and where that vented into rain clouds that then traveled down the Honshu Island, toward the metropolis of Greater Tokyo. There are these different hot spots that they've been able to measure where then these radioactive rain clouds then rain it back down into the soil, and it's collected up in like sandbars in the runoffs of the creeks. And I'm sure have you seen some of those I mean, a lot of this, I don't know how much to trust what I've seen on NHK, which is the national broadcast for Japan. But, they've shown these maps of the hot spots being identified. Here, like Chiba, for example, which is not far from Narita International Airport, the main airport into Tokyo, for example.
Yeah. President Obama asked for volunteers to go over there. And I volunteered because I do have some water purification experience.
Such a nice guy.
And
no, I was talking about Obama.
That was
awesome of you to do.
Yeah, I got back the reply. I had actually made a facility for producing a part where we had to wash a radioactive sensor, and so I had a facility that could remove plutonium from water at 45 gallons per minute. And their idea was the exact opposite. They wanted to dilute the byproducts out into as much water as possible, because once they got it down to a certain percentage, they could say it wasn't there anymore.
Well, it sounds like the solution to pollution is dilution, my friend. All right, drink up, folks.
Wow. That's what they're saying. And so I volunteered.
Good night, everybody.
This water tastes like tritium. Did you fart?
Yeah.
The solution to pollution.
I volunteered to
Pollution.
recopy that facility in Fukushima. And the result we got was from the team that Obama put together with engineers to go over there from America, was that we're not interested in cleaning it up. We just want to get it restarted.
Now, the interesting thing, that sound and the character for the sound, she, like S-H-E, she, they're very superstitious in Japan. Like, for example, when you count to 10, ichi-ni-san, shi. Okay, she would be the number 4. But again, they're very superstitious, and there's a lot of Japanese that will say ichi-ni-san, yon, go, chi-cha-chu.
Yeah.
I skipped Roku. But I mean, because she is also a word that means death.
Yeah.
And so, like, instead of Fukushima, it'll be Fukushima.
And that's why we
try to get that. Just try to get over that sound, because they don't want to make that sound, because that's literally saying death out loud.
That's why we could not call Matsushita or why we had to call Matsushita Matsushita.
Right, because otherwise, because they don't want to hear the sound of death of sheep, and so it's even to the ridiculous thing of some people won't say the number 4 and they'll say don't instead.
Yeah.
They don't want to say she.
Good night, you guys. This has been awesome. Peace out.
Steve is jumping off.
In fact, there was a famous colonel. I think.
Good night, old man.
Unit 713 under Colonel Ishii.
Good night, everyone.
Are
we heading out?
No, that was just Steve. Steve, old man, is going to bed. We're here.
Oh, okay.
I want to say
Night, Steve.
Unit 713.
Like, no.
No, 731. Unit 731 was the unit of the Japanese Imperial Army that was doing
the experiments where they were
Colonel
transfecting. Yeah, they were transfecting. Was it gnats? Does someone know? It was either gnats or it was something that was spread. I think it could have been bats. Actually, it was bats. I think they were going to use them for fire bombs originally, and I think they used them to spread. It could have been either. I don't think it was mosquitoes, but it was something that would have been pervasive in the environments and swamp areas. But there was
I think if Colonel Ishii were alive today, I think Colonel Ishii would be working hand in glove with Peter Daszak and Anthony Fauci. Let's just say that, folks. Hey, you guys want to work on
those programs are what got us here, dude.
Daijobu desu ne.
It's only because they care, you guys. They wouldn't be fucking around with dangerous ass shit. That.
Jonas says, get everyone sick and get rich quick. Gain of function means gain of profits.
Pretty much. Actually, Dave Martin said as much. He said if you control the patent on something, you not only control the patent on it, but you control the provenance of it. You control where it originates. You control all the things. Oh, sorry. If you control the patent around a living organism, which should be illegal, there's a ruling that he goes into where it was proven another way. But you own the patent, then you own the patent for testing for said thing.
Yeah.
You can control the provenance because you control how something's being tested for.
That's
just for anything.
Fun fact about my good friend Martin there. He has a fabulous bow tie collection. And if you want, he'll drive you to the Six Flags.
Oh my
God.
God.
He's that guy. He's Mr. Six. No. Well, it turns out David Martin's just a doppelganger for Mr. Six of the Six Flags.
I mean, yeah, actually, Dave's kind of interesting because, like, he's definitely like, I definitely have a lot more trust with him just because, like, he's very adamant. If you've seen him talk, how he gives you the actual patent number. I mean, then again, like, some people have argued proprietary, the way things are analyzed, but again, I've seen his analysis. It's pretty well rounded. I don't agree with some of his conclusions from it, but I don't think anyone needs to. Just go look for it and judge it yourself. I mean, I did a review with Franco on it, actually.
What do you think of the analysis of Mattia Desmond when it comes to mass formation? I don't want to use the psychosis
he's spot on.
suffix, but more the mass formation. And
sure. So
the psychoanalysis that's been put into that in terms of the
you got Jack
cognitive warfare.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm asking you there, Jack.
So the interesting thing is actually Robert Malone is the least interesting thing about mass formation. And if you remove the fact that he's the one that said it wrong and has been corrected by Matias on 2 live streams now that I can count, telling his ass not to call it psychosis because that's a stigmatizing term, you dumbass.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm just a little
thanks for
frustrated
picking up on that. I was trying to disambiguate about that, Jack, and I'm glad you did pick up on what I was my nuance there. So thank you. Go ahead.
100%. And I think we're in one. I think we've been in a bunch of different ones. And again, so what Dr. Desmond talks about is mass formations. He brings up the works and words of Hannah Arendt, who's got a great book on totalitarianism. I would recommend everyone read. She also gives a very unbiased account of the Eichmann interviews and talks about the political nature and how it was used to create this fear of a nation state being needed for certain people. And she was not afraid to speak against that, while at the same time being ethically honest and very principled, I would argue, on many things. Again, I'm still researching her. The reason I bring her up is that she'd written well about this years ago. And so his formulation was based off of there's 4 criteria that a society would be in. And that's the first one is a lack of essentially social isolation, right? Lack of bond. So social isolation, well, we had social distancing right off, so that satisfied that. But he argues this, in fact, was going on to where people were reporting bullshit jobs at a higher number. And the amount of burnout, which I was seeing before all this went down, was insanely high in the professional fields. So he hits on that, which brings in our second point you need, which is lack of interest, or lack of self-worth, or lack of worth in what you're doing, which is people having bullshit jobs, not liking what they're doing. We had that. So then what happens is 3, which is free floating anxiety, is then instilled. The free floating anxiety is important because you can never associate it with anything. It's got to be ambiguous for a reason. It's got to be, it leads to the othering of others, essentially, is the way I phrase it, because it creates in you this thing that makes you constantly anxious. People were already living paycheck to paycheck before all this went down. Fourth condition is free floating. Again, I'm going on top of my head, so it could be off a little bit, but free floating anger and frustration or aggression. And when you get all 4 of those in a row, what you have is a mass formation event, essentially, where it's a psychological phenomenon that he explains, where if a leader comes along and says that they'll give you the solution to battle the object of anxiety, people will actually go and do things that are unusual and things that are out of character, because it's a type of cult framing. It's a type of I don't want to call it brainwashing, but it's a type of making people have a perception that things are very different. And he even says there's an effect that a certain percentage, the more obscene and absurd the measures are, the more they will follow them. And look at what we saw with like triple masking.
Well, I like to
so again,
think
his
of it
theory is
as,
not really a theory. It's kind of like what we're seeing, I would say.
I like to think of it as a thrombotic social phenomenon, where you
That's
see
a good
like a
description.
coagulation or a clotting into different cult-like clusters.
I think you need that
in a time of great injury and panic to the body politic at large. To kind of mix my analogies there.
Yeah,
If
that's a
you
good
follow what
point.
I'm saying.
Well, because think about
Like
it. People were seeing there was the perception of well, and I don't even want to call it perception. I know for a fact people that had bullied in the system their whole lives had finally seen that, hey, there's some shit going on. Didn't matter who you voted for. Like most people didn't even know if their vote was actually counted. As for the lawsuits, they kind of do what they always do, and it's kind of sad to see. But they drag people on to thinking that it's somehow going to change something when it's not, because we can't even get the source. The code is all proprietary, meaning we don't own it. So we have publicly funded private elections. It's absurd. We should just do hand-counted ballots the night of the elections and do it for the entire nation. Have everyone make it a civic duty, and we all do it together. I don't know any other way. The second you put technology in, it messes it up. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of shit going on.
Well, I tell you, for those that are feeling exasperated, Yona's advice is to seek out an old British rock band, I guess you would call them, called Tears for Fears, with Roland Orzabal and other friends. And, their messages and their songs will speak to our problem at hand. Tears for Fears warned us that it's a mad, mad world. Actually, there was a remake of that song with a cool video of the people making things,
Didn't REM jack some of their shit? Or could I be wrong? Because I don't think REM
No,
did.
I don't think REM, but there was.
I think
that
someone copied
Jules guy.
REM stuff.
Jules,
yes,
somebody covered the. Tears
I can't remember the name.
Mad World. Jules.
Where's Steve?
But everybody wants to rule the world, right? It's right there in the song. Although I would say that not everybody wants to rule the entire world. Just a few people. And now they make TED Talks and videos at security conferences and everything for our enjoyment.
Yona, are you saying we're not going to see you at the MSC soon? At the Munich Security Conference with Anna Kasparian?
It would be possible that maybe I could be there, but I would be one of the people wearing a mask and serving them food on my knees.
So you're going to be playing the Medea Benjamin role of old.
I'm going to infiltrate.
Get on there and get like be able to wrestle your way out of like 8 different headlocks. I mean, she pulled some ninja shit. That's all I got to say.
No, I'm going to do like the help and give them one of those pies that has poop in it.
I'm down. When do we do it?
And they thought Yoda was just the help.
Oh, that's great.
Tears for Fears just announced a day or two ago that they're having a reunion tour.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, we're being at the Tears for Fears reunion. Snork's buying.
we got.
I saw that the other day. I got all excited about it. I can't stop thinking about it. I'm talking about it now. Now Snork's cluing everybody in. Get ready. Shout, let it all out. These are the concerts I can't do without. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
Yeah. I have been thinking about going to the Roger Waters tour.
Oh my! I love Roger Waters, dude.
I'm so mad at him. I'm
Why?
so
What
mad
did he do?
at him. God.
What did he do now? I thought he was actually keeping. Oh, what happened?
He's
he's all like Neil Young on that tip, homie.
Are you serious? Not Waters. Damn it. Sorry. I didn't know that the cult could get to him. The Branch Covidians. I don't know what to call it.
I still like Aaron Mate.
What is going on with WikiLeaks right
look
now?
At Aaron Mate. I like Aaron Mate, journalism and everything. But whenever he gets talking about his love of, whenever he starts riding that big pharma dick, I have to turn away. You know.
What about did anybody figure out what happened with WikiLeaks? Couldn't go to their website earlier. I got error messages trying to go to their website. Can't go. Did anybody see anything about that?
That I do not know.
No,
I don't know. I have worked 25 hours in the last 36 hours. I'm like maybe 5 hours of sleep, and I'm about to pass out on the
Jam, brother.
I've done that once already. I don't want to do it again, Lucky.
Oh my God, yeah, he fell asleep on stream. It was so cute. Like we have a stream of like
I worked so
hard. Turned into that. I was like, this is some kind of weird. Either this is some kind of weird shit, and Yona doesn't know, or Yona's gonna laugh his ass off after this. When was that? The stream that you fell asleep on.
Oh God.
Oh, Gary Jules. That's his name. Gary Jules. I knew it was Jules. Yeah. Gary Jules. Thank you, Ricky Rance.
I know, Ricky, why aren't you like ranting with us? What the hell?
Ricky Rance be dropping that fire shit on the Twitters, homie.
Dude, I went on his page one day and I got.
If Yona says it's fire, then it's fire.
I went down the fucking wormhole, like the rabbit hole of Ricky Rance on his Twitter, and I'm like, what the fuck? I was on there for like ever, like trying to get out. I'm like,
are you out there red pilling people?
Pause for the cause. I need more tasties. Hang on.
Wait, what was the question, Jack?
No, I was just joking around.
Do you know that he's the real Where's Waldo? He's the real Waldo.
For real?
Yeah, he's Waldo.
Nice.
He is. He's gonna send me a autographed picture.
So mysterious.
I know. Like he's the real Wills Waldo. He is. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, on mushrooms, I know chaga, reishi, and any just mycelium. What was the one you're talking about?
Lion's mane.
Lion's mane and just cordyceps, which I think is just. Is that the species? Snort? Am I getting the species?
Leo's favorite food is mushrooms, and he thinks that dried mushroom chips are a dog treat. Like this is a dog treat to the dog. Dried mushrooms.
Are those turkey tails?
These ones are. I think they might be. The turkey tails.
Oh yeah.
All right, show and tell everyone. I've only got a yin yang symbol.
3 a.m. Eternal. KLF is gonna rock you.
Yeah, I think these ones are turkey tail ones. So.
Nice.
KLF. Uh-huh.
But yeah, Leo is obsessed with mushrooms. My dog likes mushrooms. He begs for them.
From Tears for Fears to the KLF, we're going British rock tonight, folks. Who's not ready to get justified at H with the Yoda?
Oz has some questions for you, Jack, I think.
What's up, Oz?
I think he's asking you questions.
Oh.
He wants to know.
Which one?
I don't.
philosophies.
He wants proof on what you were referring to.
Mass formation. There's no proof. It's an observation of a phenomenon. So it's like any kind of like psychological exercise where they try to figure out what's causing different things. It's a theory. But again, I would argue that it's probably if you just look at the different phenomenon and look at the interactions of the social group dynamics, it kind of makes a little bit more sense. But I don't agree with that everything like makes I don't think anyone's a purveyor of 100% truth. So I think his theory is great. I think it's good how he brings in historical characters to help frame what he's talking about and historical events. And again, I haven't sensed anything from him that's deceptive. Now with Malone, I could argue both ways, because if you saw that Alex Jones one, that was the really revealing one, because it's like he knows who he's talking to. He has in his mind who his audience is. Yeah. And he changes on different streams. I've seen him on like Union
Dr.
of the
Malone?
Unwanted. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
No, again,
he's a
that's
fucking
not
spook. He's
Malone's
a
the one
spook
who came up with this psychosis term, which is not even part of mass formation at all.
That guy is playing people. He is playing.
Yeah, he added that term, by the way, Oz.
I don't trust him.
So the term mass psychosis is wrong. It's actually mass formation.
That's right.
And Desmond's
that's what I asked you about, was the mass
Correct.
formation that Matthias Desmond had talked about. What my good friend Steve Pokemon Poikinen calls him is Spooks Malone, because he's like a limited
I call him the Matrix
with all
architect.
of his involvement with Darker Project.
He's the Matrix architect.
And
I
go
call him
ahead.
Pokemon.
Remember Matrix 2? Yona, you remember Matrix 2? He's
Yeah.
the architect. He's just there to fucking confuse people.
And
Everything
that
that the
mass
architect says in the
formation
Matrix is just fancy
psychosis
words.
Terminology of Malone has been a great confusion to the good theories that have been put out by Matthias Desmond. So to speak to what Oz was asking about, show your evidence, show your proof. I mean, this is academic discussion and theories that have been put forth to try to make sense of what's been going on here.
Yeah, and the thing I will say is the reason why I like Desmond is that 100% psychology. The DSM is I'd argue a demonic book, just because it labels people and is very stigmatizing. That's why I like Matthias Desmond, is because I studied psychology. He's not like the typical psychologist you would think. He's not a Freudian. He's not a psychoanalyze every single fucking thing you say type tool. He's very much a systems approach. He sees a spiritual war aspect to everything going on. He's a very spiritual person, actually. You don't get this depth if you've only seen Malone misinterpret his theory.
Yeah, and I'm pretty brutal when it comes to psychology. Because I think of the psychologist standing in the room at Guantanamo Bay, helping bloody Mary Gina Haspel improve their enhanced interrogation techniques.
You mean Bloody Gina was not going to make something fluffy puppies, Yona?
I think of psychology with the New Orleans Clinical Journal publishing the theories on dysesthesia ethiopica and drapetomania put forth by Dr. Samuel Cartwright to explain away that when slaves tried to run away, or when slaves didn't pick enough cotton, it was because of a psychological issue. The same with feminine hysteria. The same today with psychology trying to break down this new junk science on vaccine hesitancy and why parents aren't trusting enough with corporate public relations when it comes to the uptake of their products. There is definitely a science of the study of mental health and human behavior. But what we have from psychology quite often, and even more so now, is this wrong think, group think type crap that, psychology is hand in glove with this corporate empire with which we live in. You look at, for example, the nephew of Sigmund Freud himself, Edward Bernays, largely the father of public relations as we know it.
And Freedom Torches, Lucky Strikes.
Industry. And when it comes to propaganda, they're talking about winning hearts and minds. That's the very nature and psychology of trying to manipulate, deceive, and control populations through, misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. And now again, they turn it completely upside down as they incessantly spew deception and misinformation.
They've said
Targeting
why,
other
though. This is
people
what's
who
nuts.
aren't, and saying that they are the purveyors of misinformation, like Joseph Mercola or Del Bigtree or others who are just providing, citations. And, I like going to shows like that, like shout out Tim Truth and others or Ryan Christian, where, you can go through the show notes at the end of their podcast or whatever, and got all these places where you can go read it for yourself. You don't have to take their word for it. They're not just giving you a dumbed down version or a wrong version like you would get from, days of old with a Peter Jennings or a Tom Brokaw, for example. Media has changed as a result of the mainstream media completely becoming a laughing stock of absurdity and fake news after, Smith-Mundt and everything else was changed. Smith-Mundt Act, which previously prevented deliberate propagandizing of the American public, but that was repealed that was part of the media deregulation under Bubba Clinton's second term, I do believe. That was in '96. We've seen further monopolization of the media. When you think about all those pharmaceutical commercials coming on at each commercial break, ask your doctor about this, ask your doctor about that. Then you have to draw the lines and connect it, like Whitney Webb did with her famous video clip brought to you by Pfizer. Because when you realize all that advertising revenue to the broadcasters then creates that financial relationship to where they're going to go in lockstep with the medical establishment. When the medical establishment is bankrolling and buying the billboards, paying for the ad time, well, then they'll say what they want. They're not going to, right? They're not going to bite the hand that feeds, right, Snort?
No, I'd say I got to go to bed. I've been up too long.
Yeah, me too. I'm wore out. I'm going to fall asleep again.
Yep. 99.
But take care,
Night,
Snort.
Snork. Thank you. I love when you
I love you
come
guys.
on.
Wait till Lucky. I'll catch you tomorrow. Take care, Lucky.
Are you headed out too? Yeah. All right. All right, y'all. I think we're gonna wrap up. But Ricky Rant says, ask your doctor about Waldo.
Well, love you all. Take care, Lucky. I'm wore out.
Love you. All right, y'all. I will see all of you very soon. We will be what's today? Now it's Saturday. We will be doing streams, I'm sure, later on today. And definitely on Sunday. There's so much happening. And we need to remember to, love one another and be kind with each other. And don't let the bullshit fucking win. Like, don't let the fucking bullshit win. We will drop links in the description so you can find everybody. Yona has a show that he does. And there's the image that Steve made for him. How cool is that? So, we'll drop all the links down below. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that everybody that came on. It was a much needed conversation. We needed that time to blow off the steam and so we can, regroup and figure this out because, we have each other. That's what we got. And we got to figure this out. We got to figure this out together, guys. Because nobody's coming to save us. All right. I will see you guys all very soon. I don't know what else I was going to say. So, good night.
Hydrofield cuts through my neighborhood. Somehow that always just made me feel good. And I can put a spare bulb in my hand, light up my yard. Late at night when the wires in the walls sing in tune with the din of the falls, I'm conducting it all while I sleep to light this whole town.